Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerfherder Council.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Nerfherder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, the Facebook page, and the YouTube channel of the Virtual Cantina Network, as well as our Nerfherder Council Twitch page. If you've never checked that out, please do. All of our videos are up there. Our ex-co-host Steve does a lot of cool gaming stuff there, so make sure to check that out. As always, guys, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. If you are watching on YouTube, either on our channel or that of the Virtual Cantina Network, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. If you would like to get some awesome customizable Nerfherder Council swag, go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. We're going to get to that right after my intro here because AJ has some awesome stuff to show you. And if you would like to get some killer Virtual Cantina Network swag, just go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my best friend, my co-host, and he is the Rudolph to my Santa. He is, of course, my younger brother, AJ. What's going on, man? I know you're not feeling too good, but you're gutting it out. So
exactly. I'll suffer through it, man. It's what we do for the show, right?
Well, I
apologize to anyone who doesn't like the audio quality tonight. This is the best I can do. So let's see how it goes.
Dude, it sounds normal to me. So if you hadn't told me you were sick, and I know you better than anyone, like I wouldn't have known anything was wrong. So, you know,
it's touch and go. We'll see.
Well, right off the bat, two things.
If I get the coughing fit, though, I'll just have to cut myself off. So it's fine.
That's what the mute button's for, dude. Kale McLeish, great to see you, man. He says, "Merry Christmas, Drakes." Kale, a very Merry Christmas to you, man. I'm bummed out we're not going to see you on camera on Friday, but look at Discuss Metal Joe. Joseph Friend, great to see you, man. Merry Christmas. He says, Rudolph to my Santa. Well, at least he didn't say Mrs. Claus. No. AJ's got skills, and he's been blowing his nose, so he's got a red nose, and I'm a big fat dude with some gray in my beard, so it just worked out better that way. But yeah. So real quick, two things. Number one, I completely forgot to dress in any Christmas stuff, so shame on me. Here I am in Imperial Gray. Yeah, Imperial Gray. I'm a humbug apparently. But number two, as we said in the outset, you've got some awesome new gear to show off. If you go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com, you can buy what AJ is about to display.
So speaking of shades of Imperial Gray, we have a new t-shirt design up in the shop, and it's a slightly revised logo for our show. And there's also a new t-shirt available on the shop. It's a vintage wash. So check this out.
I am so buying that.
So we tweaked the logo a little bit, and then I'll completely get up right on the camera with this thing. Check out the wash on this thing. This is fresh. I haven't even worn it yet, and you see it's got all like the nice fading on the seams and everything, and it's really cool. It's really cool. I can't wait to wear this thing.
As usual,
and it's still a good price though too. I think it's on sale right now for $7 off, so it'll cost you less than $30 total when shipped. Yeah, well worth the money. Looks like it's quality. It's nice and comfy and kind of like pre-washed and everything too. So it's soft from the day you put it on.
Dude, that looks amazing. I mean, you really do awesome work. Like friends, you really do awesome work on our gear, man. If you guys seriously, like, I know we shill for our own stuff, but AJ really does a fantastic job on the graphics. And that is a badass looking shirt. Like, I'm gonna buy several of those because I love the more washed out look, but those types of shirts. And by the way, I was gonna say, yet again, awesome content for our audio viewers. So
yeah, right.
So all you audio viewers out there, go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com and get yourself some new Nerfherder gear. So yeah, well, this is gonna be fun, dude. We're doing something that is a first for us on this show tonight. We are going to open up the camera to anybody who wants to jump on and co-host with us. So I do this Friday night will be the 4th year in a row or fourth episode in a row, I should say, for my music podcast, Talking Into Infinity. We do it's called the Fan Hangout episode, and we just open it up to, we let people know a few episodes in ahead of can't talk. We let people know a few episodes ahead of time that they can jump on camera and co-host with us. And this year we've got 10 people jumping on with us. Unfortunately, our buddy Kale is not able to make it, but and it always works out good. And you and I talked, and you decided it might be kind of fun to do that on this show. So we are going to throw the link up here. If you look at the bottom of the screen, we've got a QR code there for those of you watching online. You can just hit that QR code, and it'll take you into our green room, and we can bring you up on the screen. Or if you go to live.nerfherdercouncil.com, that will take you into our green room as well. So tonight's topic is holiday themed, as we are wont to do. That's WONT for those of you who read books. And we are going with overrated and underrated Christmas movies. So this will be fun, dude. I'm definitely gonna piss people off with my number one choice for overrated, but I'm interested to see what people's choices are for these lists. And you have a list of your own, don't you?
Yeah. I put together a list. I just picked 20 movies, not so much at random, but things I actually knew about at least a little bit to have an opinion on them, because there's a ton of Christmas movies that I haven't seen. I'm sure you're the same.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Rather than just go ahead and rate things and not know what the hell I'm talking about, I was like, if I haven't seen it, I can't really say it. I've got an honorable mentions section for that, specifically for stuff that's like, people talk about it, but I can't. So if people want
Right.
to, like I said, hop on the show, bail us out and talk about these things, that'd be fantastic. But I think it's very important that we start with one important discussion, and that is, what makes a movie a Christmas movie?
That's
We
exactly
did the show
why
last year. You know the one I'm talking about.
That's what I pulled up Kale's comment. He says JT's choice for overrated is Die Hard, I'm guessing. Yeah. No, that's exactly. I knew where AJ was going to go, and that's why I pulled it up, Kale. AJ, should we just do a quick recap of last year's Christmas episode?
Sure. Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. Done.
There we go. The recap is over. There we go.
Yep.
It is an action movie that happens at Christmas. There we go.
Yeah, so I've listed a couple of those right off the bat, just because I was surprised they showed up on my Google search of Christmas movies. Gremlins.
Oh,
yes. Gizmo was a Christmas gift. That is all that the movie has to do with Christmas.
Okay.
Everything else, if it had been a birthday present instead, the movie would have played out the same, basically. So I don't count that as a Christmas movie.
Huh.
It's like Die Hard, right? Like, if it had been a company picnic instead of a holiday party, it would have played out the same. So,
well, and dude, Nick Hall nails it right here. He says a Christmas movie. By the way, Nick, Merry Christmas. Great to see you, or whatever holiday you celebrate. Never sure what to say these days. A Christmas movie is a movie that Christmas is a theme within the movie. That's what I've always kind of thought too. That's why I always say Die Hard is an action movie that happens at Christmas. I think that's a pretty fair delineation.
Mm-hmm. Now, where do you stand on something like Violent Night then?
Oh, that's a Christmas movie.
See, I think it is too, because Santa's the main character, but that's the only connection to Christmas as a holiday.
Well, no, I mean, it's the title's a riff on Silent Night, one of the most legendary Christmas songs. Santa with the reindeer. It's a Christmas movie. It's an action horror Christmas movie.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. How about this one? Batman Begins. No, Batman
Returns. It's not. No, that's a sequel to Batman.
I agree. Again, just because it takes place at Christmas doesn't mean it's a Christmas movie. Another one that I would put on that list, I think, might be Edward Scissorhands.
No. What?
Yeah,
Are
right?
you shitting me? See, people are just throwing this shit up there. I mean, like, where, again, I'll say what we said last year. See, Chastity said, Die Hard. Chastity says it. Bruce Willis says it's not a Christmas movie. If the Star says it's not a Christmas movie, guess what? It's not. So, I mean, by the way, Kale, let us know what you're talking about with this comment. Like, go back here for a second. He says, according to certain analysis, it is actually more of a Christmas film than Rudolph. More trees, more songs, more references. Well, let us know which one you're talking about, Kale. Okay. Yeah, no, Kale, stop. Kale's trying to defend Die Hard again. It's not happening, Kale.
By the way, there's certain movies that won't show up on the list tonight because they're neither over nor underrated. That doesn't mean they're not good and we don't enjoy them. It just means they're rated exactly where they should be.
I have one that fits right in there that I think you have on the overrated list. God, okay, seriously, Dave, I love you, man. Good to see you. My best buddy Dave. Is Passion of the Christ an Easter movie or a snuff film? God damn you. Go play disc golf, you fucking tiny motherfucker.
Okay, so
and there's Shane O'Mac, for fuck's sake. Yep, there we go. Yeah. Oh, I'll see both you guys at the local on January 3rd.
Nice.
Brother Believe Me's playing, guys. You guys got to Dave and Shane, you guys got to be there. Anyways, continue, AJ. Sorry.
So Nick Hall brings up one that was going to be on my list, but again, I don't think it qualifies as a Christmas movie because I don't think anything that Art the Clown does in Terrifier 3 is specific to the holiday of Christmas. He just murders a Santa guy and takes the costume. So I don't think that's really a Christmas movie.
That one is difficult because like I think I would agree that it's not a Christmas movie. You know what I would say about this one? I think that it fits into the Die Hard category in that I would say it's a horror movie that happens at Christmas.
Yeah.
That's what I would say about that one. But look at Joseph Wren. To Dave's point, he says, also, Passion of the Christ is a remake of Jesus Christ Superstar. For some reason, they took out all the bad and good songs. Holy shit. We're off and running. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nerfherder Council Holiday Edition. Oh my God. That's awesome.
Okay, so I'll tee up the first we're gonna go between my overs and my unders. Just
okay.
Back and forth, okay? Because this whole thing started, we're gonna start with the unders because this whole topic came up because we were wondering if this movie is something that we could make an entire show out of. And the answer is no, but it is definitely what I would call an underrated Christmas movie, and that is Bad Santa.
Yes. Yes. Excellent choice. Completely agree.
Unfortunately, I think this also falls in the category of movies whose jokes haven't aged that well. There's a lot of stuff in here that I'm not sure if we ever wanted to run for public office, we could say we laughed at. But, you know.
Well, see, I disagree. The only reason I will disagree with you there, I mean, let's be honest. Anytime someone wants to cancel Blazing Saddles, you and I are on the front lines of go fuck yourself. So if that's, I mean, it's the same, dude, you could say the same thing about Anchorman 2. I mean, there's some stuff in there like, but you know, if it was acceptable at the time, it was acceptable at the time. Mm-hmm. It's you can't revisionist history. Like, I mean, come on, stop. So
yeah. Besides, I mean, it's the comedy in there is just amazing. I mean, you got Billy Bob Thornton, you've got oh Jesus, Bernie Mac, and why am I blanking out on the guy from Three's Company? John Ritter.
John Ritter, yeah.
I mean, it's hilarious. It's just hilarious from start to finish.
It's fucking large women in the ass. And John Ritter's face who goes. It's like the best.
You even get Lauren Graham. You get the original Gilmore Girl.
Yes.
Saying, fuck me, Santa. Fuck me, Santa. Fuck me, Santa. Fuck me, Santa.
Oh, hold on. There might be cursing on the Nerfherder Council. Forgot that disclaimer. And the views of the Nerfherder Council don't necessarily reflect those of the Virtual Cantina Network.
Yeah.
I always forget those damn disclaimers. I wonder.
Yeah, kind of vital, isn't it?
When is the statute of limitations over on that? Like, when do we have to stop doing that? Oh my God.
Boy, I don't know.
Nick Hall caught us. He goes, and there's the disclaimer. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Actually,
maybe that's a new drinking game for our audience. The number of every time we break our cursing rule before we give the disclaimer, take a drink.
Or for every minute past the start time of the show that we forget to announce it, have to take that many drinks.
There we go.
We'll have people with liver failure in about 3 weeks doing that shit. Yeah, dude, I think it's hilarious. The family had it on. I was finishing up. I was working late while I was cooking dinner tonight because I basically have a half day tomorrow and then I'm off for 2 weeks, and so trying to get caught up. And man, I hadn't actually watched it in full in a while. It is so unbelievable, like how incredibly funny that movie is. It's like, what does she say? Like, and sorry to be a little misogynistic here, but it is a joke in the movie, so don't cancel me. But I completely forgotten where he said. So she says something like, "Yeah, I've had this thing for Santa. It's like a deep seated thing," and he goes, "Yeah, kind of like my thing for tits."
It's so blunt. I love it.
It's so great. All right, all right. Who? Look at this guy. Is he going to take over Portland? Oh boy.
Geez. All right, let's see what we got. We got our first guest host.
A guest host. Let's bring him on. You know him. You love him.
You wanted the worst. You got the worst, my friend. The one and only. It's me. You guys want to talk about bad and good Christmas movies. Overrated, underrated is what you said. Is it time, or do I have to wait a little longer?
Well, like I said, we're not talking bad or good Christmas movies. We're talking about movies that don't deserve the reputation that they have.
And remember, Joe, you are a podcast host. Stay on flow of the conversation. Don't dominate it. Take it over, and all of a sudden just start blasting people about how Christmas Vacation is the single most overrated Christmas movie ever. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Dave Hudek. Anyways, so back on topic of Bad Santa.
I agree with Bad Santa, by the way. It's one of my favorite ones to sit down and watch if I want to offend everybody in the room, because most people have heard of Bad Santa, but they're not ready for Bad Santa.
Yes, I have so many friends that I turned them onto it, and they come back and go, "That wasn't funny at all. Christmas is supposed to be happy. That was so dark." I'm like, "That's why it's funny. That's the whole crux."
You knew
of the
what
humor.
you were in for right from the title card. It's the title card plays over a silhouette of him puking in an alley in the Santa
exactly.
Bad Santa is what I thought we were going to get when we talked about Violent Night. I think I mentioned Bad Santa, actually. I thought we were going to get fake Santa Claus, but yeah, Billy Bob Thornton likes to rob everything, and he's doing that character that he does when he's just being a horrible human being.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Once a year is just fine. It's not supposed to be funny, but it's so bad. He is so bad as a person. I like to imagine that that's an alternate version of his Monsters Ball character.
Sorry to bring this up, but Shane O'Mac says, Dave, my buddy Dave Hudek, auditioned for the elf part in Bad Santa.
Oh,
so
wow.
My buddy Dave is an incredible lyricist and vocalist, just one of the most intelligent, beautiful people I know. But he's a couple inches shorter than the national average, so we've always made height jokes, so that's where that comes from. Well played, Shano.
Here comes the money.
Right.
Shano, stick around, man. I see your comment there. We'll get to it.
All right, so Shane O'Mac says Scrooged, underrated 100%. All right.
No, I have it on my over list.
Oh, all right.
I think a lot of people would say that that's overrated.
I'll be honest, man. The problem is, like, Bill Murray is only like hilarious or awful, and I don't think this is one of his hilarious roles.
Yeah.
It's like he took all the fun out of Peter Venkman and then played that as his version of Scrooge.
See, he has one of the better, like, I'm afraid to die moments in that movie, and the last 15, 20 minutes is him kind of redeeming himself. I don't think it's as funny as it could be, because the whole build of that movie is eventually Bill Murray's going to turn into Bill Murray. It's like he fights being the sarcastic guy until the very end. Yeah, yes, he still does the thing, but it's not until he has that moment with the ghost of A Christmas Future, that he actually turns into Bill Murray. And I think that's supposed to be the joke, but I don't think it works that well. I don't get it. I'd rather just watch A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it plays to the template of A Christmas Carol, and I get that's why he doesn't change till the end, but boy, I don't know. I've seen funny versions of A Christmas Carol, and this ain't one of them.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I kind of judge like a movie on overrated, underrated in terms of the list that we're talking about. It's okay. can I get through it? And first of all, if I can't, it's like, second of all, if I do, and I understand what they were going for, but it just wasn't a good representation, there you go.
Mhm.
And I completely agree with you, AJ. It's like, you know, I personally have never seen a funny rendition of Christmas Carol. I've never looked and tried, because that I mean, we have a huge family thing. It's like a family tradition for us, Christmas Carol and all that. So I'm used to the George C. Scott version, and you know, our dad recorded an audiobook of it for AJ's birthday about 10 years ago that I listen to every Christmas. And so I don't go searching out like, oh, let's make fun of Tiny Tim, you know. So you know, so I've never seen one, but I don't know. Like I can't imagine that trying to make that it almost seems like sacred ground. You know what I mean? Like can you really make fun of a Christmas Carol? Like I mean, you can make fun of anything. That's not I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, can it ever possibly work? And I really don't think so.
You can't make fun of it, but you can be funny with it. And that leads me to another underrated Christmas movie on my list. Kale brings it up here. He says, you want a great take on Scrooge? Watch The Muppets. Yes,
another
The
good
Muppet
one.
Christmas Carol.
Every year.
That one, oh, it's amazing.
If I start with a Christmas Carol, I'm either watching the Muppet Christmas Carol or I'm watching the lesser talked about Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol, which actually puts Scrooge in the role of Ebenezer Scrooge. It totally works.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why the character was called Scrooge to begin with, I assume.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, I not a huge fan of the Mickey Mouse one compared to Muppets. Got to admit. The Mickey Mouse one is cool. I think it's kind of like there as like a kitschy kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like, okay, well, you know, all right, here's Mickey Mouse and we're going to do a Christmas Carol. Like, it's cool. Whereas I think the Muppet Christmas Carol, you could say the same thing, but it's so much more well done, I feel. And I think it gets away from Muppetiness enough to where it is a nice blend of Muppets and the classic story. So for me, I think that's why it hits a little better.
And the subtle change of making Jacob Marley into the Marley Brothers using Statler and Waldorf.
Yes.
I think that's better. Because it makes them into like we're the two sides of evil instead of just, oh no, my partner, he was a terrible guy. No, you don't understand. These two guys, they had this sweet podcast where they talk about Star Wars. You have no idea. Like, they're just horrible. I want to be just as bad as they are someday.
Get the fuck off
they
my
wouldn't
show.
forget to have the disclaimer.
All right, I'm not.
Look what I did. There we go.
But yeah,
I have the power,
and the other
asshole.
part, Michael Caine. Michael Caine as Scrooge is fantastic because he plays it like he doesn't play it for laughs. He's like the perfect straight man where he's just being Scrooge in like the most dramatic fashion possible. And it works. You know, it lets the Muppets be goofy alongside him rather than like trying to steal the spotlight and be just as funny as the puppets are, you know?
They had to tell him play it straight.
Yep. Guys, real quick, don't forget, if you go to live.nerfherdercouncil.com or hit up that QR code, all of that. What am I doing tonight? All of that is on the screen. You can jump on camera with the three of us. Everybody is welcome tonight. It is a holiday show, so jump on and give us your opinions. Kale McLeish says, when you're crying over the death of a frog, they did it perfectly. Tiny Tim never hit so hard. Yeah. I mean, there we go. Chastity Crawley. John with the video control is like a kid showing off a new toy. Look what I did. now, Chastity, you've been tuning into my other show long enough to know that the whole in and out thing is a, you know, with the camera is a complete show joke. And it actually started right here on our show. So, you know, I actually ripped off the Nerfherder Council for talking into infinity. So there we go.
Haha, Nerfherder Council did it first.
Exactly.
I don't care how popular the other show is. We're the trendsetters.
Believe me, I agree. I am not denying that one bit. So, all right. So Muppet Christmas Carol, Mickey Mouse Christmas. What do you guys have next on your list? Because I have two major choices, and we've already talked about one. Bad Santa is my underrated. I also, you know what, though? I will say, as long as we're on Christmas Carol, I'm just going to bring it up again. The George C. Scott Christmas Carol is ridiculously underrated.
You see, I love it when we're in a flow, brother, because that's exactly where I was going next. That's
go.
also on my underrated list, because I think the problem is there's so many different versions of A Christmas Carol that a lot of people, that it's hard for just one version to really stand out. Like Patrick Stewart did a version, and there's, of course, like the 1930s version. I think they did it again in the 50s, probably in the 70s. But yeah,
Yep.
George C. Scott in the 80s is like, well, we saw that as kids, and we actually had it on VHS too. So we grew up with it. So I think that's why we love it the best. But oh my God, is it good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't have it on VHS. I bought it for Dad years and years later. We had
we recorded it
off
off of PBS. Yeah.
Yeah. We actually saw it live, like not live, but yeah, when they first aired it, we recorded
so
it.
Kids, back in the 80s, back in the days of yore, there was this thing called a video cassette recorder, and you could tune into a television station. This is a thing that was broadcast over airwaves via antenna, you see. Later, it came in through a coaxial cable into your house, much like broadband internet. And you could use your video cassette recorder to record the output from a channel that you would tune into using a remote control, not an Alexa. And you could grab whatever came through your picture tube, if you had a picture tube television, and in perpetuity have that for your viewing pleasure.
That was a very long-winded explanation.
Well, you got to explain these things to the youths,
Wow. The Utes? What's a Ute?
The youths.
I want to be here the day AJ decides to explain vinyl records to the young crowd.
No, I think
okay.
yes,
That one's easy. I think there's like a little like mini pterodactyl or a bird or something that is like tied to a stick, and then it just squawks out whatever buzzes across its beak as it's dragged in a circle, right?
So where's the sound horn?
That's exactly right. It comes out its ears, duh.
Clearly.
All right, so Aaron Taft, good to see you, brother. We'll see you on Friday. Says, and you could pause it during commercials. Shane O'Mac says, so many basic versions, good, but they kind of blend together. Shane, this is what I will say. There are tons of versions of A Christmas Carol out there. Though I think the thing that sets the George C. Scott version apart, and granted, AJ and I are a little biased. Like I said, we saw it the first time it ever aired, and we recorded it on VCR tape. That's what we watched for years until I actually bought it for my dad on the official copy. These other Scrooges, I mean, the other versions kind of view like a stage production where the acting and everything is kind of over the top. This one is much more grounded in a much more realistic performance. And so
it's a movie. It's more like a movie than a stage play.
Exactly. And George C. Scott plays it so well, and the different characters are just performed excellently, and it's just more down to earth, and I think you can relate to it a little better because you're paying attention more to the story than Ebenezer Scrooge. There's more gravy in the grave about you. Like, George C. Scott's like, there's more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Like, so it's more, you can actually get into the story a little bit more because the performances are they're just stronger because they're more rooted in reality rather than, oh, this is a character. So,
and I give it extra credit too because a lot of the dialogue is pulled straight from the book, and somehow that Dickensian era Old English doesn't come off as corny at all. It just fits with the world.
Yeah,
It feels like a stage play, and I like it for that reason.
Well, but see, to me, it doesn't, because I mean, it feels the other ones feel like a stage play. This one does not. I think, I would disagree with you on that, Joe. Like, I really think that this one feels more like. Are you going with the comment I was about to pull up, AJ?
No, I was just laughing that
okay.
Apparently we agree on the rating of the movie, but we disagree on the reasons why. It's like Joe's like, I think it's campy as hell. You're like, I don't think it's campy at all.
No, I love the reality of it. All right, so Dave Hudeck says underrated. Always Sunny Christmas, season 6, episode 13, feature length, uncensored, disturbing as hell. Why did you tune in, you ass?
I'll admit, I forgot about this. I should have had this on the list. Oh my God, where's our cousin? He needs to give us a primer on this.
Yes, yeah.
I have watching
Dave,
material for
fucking love
later,
you, man.
apparently.
Oh, I love you, Dave. Oh my God, I have not seen that. I have to admit that I've never seen it. So, is it awesome? I brought it up because I figured at least one, if not both, of you guys have seen that.
I've seen every episode, so I'm sure I have. I just don't remember anything about it right now. It's been a long time since I watched through Sunny again.
Time for a Nerfherder Council watch along.
Right?
That'll be our holiday watch along. We'll do that. Okay, so since you guys cannot speak to that one, what do we have as an overrated?
Overrated. Okay, are we getting into the big hitters yet? Or are we saving that to the end? We baiting people?
Dave Hudek, it's not Christmas until Charlie Day bites Santa. Oh my God.
Let me ask the two of you this question: is this an overrated or an underrated?
Actually,
Ernest,
Dave,
scared,
let
stupid.
me know in the comments. Okay, I don't know, Joe. That's a good question.
I don't think it's either.
I would put every Ernest movie as overrated.
I was gonna say
I was never an Ernest fan.
Well, I was gonna say, AJ. I mean, to your point, I wouldn't put it on either list because we don't have a third list, which is god awful.
Oh wow.
Yeah, not funny, not funny at all. Never got the character to begin with, and then they're making movies. I'm like, what in God's name?
See, John, I was prepared to make a case for that might be one of the better Santa Clauses in film, but I'm not the first person to declare that. I know that it's been said that that might even be the best Santa in the worst movie of all time. I can laugh at Ernest for an hour and a half, but it's the performance of Santa Claus and why he's in that situation, I think, that makes that movie a classic. I really do. I think it's underrated. Excuse me.
The one thing I will say about all these movies is that the awesome thing is that people have different opinions, but I mean, a Christmas movie, no matter what, it does leave you feeling kind of good. You're like, oh, it's Christmas, yay! Like you've got that. It's like, an aftertaste. Even if it sucks, like it's almost like eating like a shit meal, but if they put enough garlic in it, you're like, boy, that was terrible. And then later on you burp and it's garlic flavored and you're like, no, okay, that was,
it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, there you go. So Chastity Crawley says, my overrated is going to piss people off. I'm going to wait. Kale says, Chastity's going to say Love Actually. Or, here's one. He says, or is she going to say Home Alone?
Well, let's go to my over list. And I will say all Home Alones are overrated. Let's go. Light it up, people.
Just light the film on fire and watch it burn.
Now, to be clear, again, We're doing over and underrated. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's funny, it's entertaining, but it's got this legendary status. So much so that they made a $300 Lego set of the house. And I just don't get it.
I don't either, because it's not that funny either.
I mean, it's a good, harmless, slapstick, one-off movie. I think my bigger problem is that they made like 5 more of them. There was at least like 3 with God, I suck with names tonight. But anyway.
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, thank you. Then the 4th one had a new kid, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's only 2?
Third one had a new kid.
Yeah. Okay.
They started early with that one, trying to bring back the idea of the little kid who's alone in his house, who's trying to defend his house from the burglars. Is it overrated in 2024? Do people have nostalgic feelings for Home Alone? Because I remember watching it. It's one of those VHS staples, like you mentioned earlier, AJ, with that wonderful thing called the VCR. But like, I'm not dying to watch Home Alone. Like, it's not Christmas until I watch Home Alone today.
Well, see, this is the reason I put it on the list. Because like I said, it's not a bad movie. But I don't think they keep making new versions because they think the last one was so good that it's worth continuing the series. I think they think the first one was so good, let's try it again. And that is why I think it's overrated, because I don't think it's worth trying again and again and again and again.
Well, I mean, just change the titles. Like Home Alone. Okay. Home Alone 2. Still crappy parents. Home Alone 3.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, watch your kids. Home Alone 4. I'm calling Child Protective Services. Home Alone 5. Fuck you, I'm stealing them.
What if we gave Macaulay Culkin a truck of money and he could be Kevin in his 30s and same situation but way darker?
I was gonna say we know exactly how that would end.
Home Alone 5. Latchkey Dad.
Home Alone 3.
I didn't know we were making an Adam Sandler movie, AJ.
Yeah.
Home Alone 5. How the fuck haven't you been taken yet?
Home Alone 6. At least fence in the goddamn backyard.
Home Alone 7. Home security systems are cheap now. Sponsored by Simply Safe.
Yeah. Right. Home Alone
This
8.
movie brought to you by Life 360.
Yeah. Home Alone 8. Even Ring couldn't save him.
Oh, that would be great. Do Home Alone now, but you have Ring cameras?
Just start turning Home Alone into like a horror thing, like how Fast and Furious was like, oh, look at all these cool car tricks, and that just became the most ridiculous Hot Wheels bullshit you've ever seen, like mixed with the giant submarines and nuclear weapons and crap. Like, just make Home Alone, just do that to Home Alone, make it like a horror franchise out of nowhere. Just like, here's Home Alone 8, and Macaulay Culkin is grown up, and here's his kid, and oh, he's gonna go through the same thing, but only the kid gets fucking mutilated. Like some serial killer breaks into the house, and all of a sudden Kevin's on a revenge trip, like fucking like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just and don't even tell people, like, you know, have all the reviews, like put an embargo on reviews so people have to go to the theater like expecting, oh, Macaulay Culkin's back, and then they just see like just horrible, just gore and shit and the saddest, most dark thing you've ever seen, and release it on Christmas Eve, so that way people are all excited for the holiday season. You just bring them down.
Am I wrong for thinking that a quality writer could find a way to do a crossover between Home Alone and Squid Game?
AJ, we were almost on the same wavelength. I was going to say John just wrote the crossover of Home Alone and Terrifier. Kevin's back, and so is Art the Clown.
I was thinking that too. By the way, Dave Hudak, back to the real quick to the elf roll due to his height. He says, Shane, I only lost that elf roll to affirmative action. You're jealous of the midget action I could get. Okay, here we go. Chastity. Home Alone 10. Now it's just S&M with tinsel. Nice. Kale McLeish, Home Alone 10, tinsel and bondage. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the views of the Nerfherder Council don't necessarily reflect those of the Virtual Cantina Network.
That said, AJ, I'm going to need a new shirt.
I can't help. Yes, unfortunately, you are, but for not good reasons.
No. That one, the one we just talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, not the other one. We won't talk about that right now.
So yeah, I do requests, by the way. If you guys have a specific like color set or something you want on a design, hit me up and I will do it for you. No problem. The problem is I can't guarantee the prints. And Joe requested Joker colors of our logo, and I made it. He bought it. He received it, and it's not Joker colors. It's something a little bit off of the right colors. So there is a return policy. You can send that back and get a refund, no problem. And I'll be happy to try again, and hopefully it prints in the colors we intended it to. So moving on.
Thanks, AJ.
Yeah.
So don't forget, guys, if you want to jump on camera with us, just go to live.nerfherdercouncil.com or scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen right now. For those of you guys,
the big one on the right.
Yeah. All of our audio viewers, you're kind of screwed right now, but you know, there we go. Look at Dave Hudak. LOL, the paint can comes down the stairs on a sex swing. I love this fucking show, man.
I think we've just saved the Home Alone franchise.
I think we have. And hey, Macaulay Culkin's straight now, so he can actually get back into the game here. So, all right. So we just did an overrated. Let's do an underrated. What do you guys have as an underrated?
All right. Joe, do you have an underrated Christmas movie you want to name?
See, I was already prepared for Ernest Scared Stupid. Now I'm going deep into my brain trying to come up with another one.
Well, there is Ernest Saves Christmas. I don't know if you want to call that a Christmas movie or not, but
God.
See, I was thinking Ernest Saves Christmas. I don't know why I said Scared Stupid. Clearly, Ernest has warped my brain again.
That's why I wasn't getting it. I'm like, what?
It's gone now. I'm coming back to it. But yeah, definitely.
I didn't know what you meant,
Push that
Vern.
one.
Got him, Vern.
It's coming. It's coming now. You know,
All
I
right.
brought it up, I think, the last time we talked about Christmas movies, but Santa Claus, the movie from the early 80s.
Is it the Tim Allen one or?
No, this is a completely different one. It has what's his name, Dudley Do-Right himself in it. Way more about Santa Claus the myth. You know, going back to person who makes toys in town, but has reindeer moving between his house and the house of the people he's taking toys to. He gets caught in a snowstorm. The elves appear from nowhere because it's magical. And then you have the myth of Santa Claus. And the whole crux of the movie is because the head elf tries to make toys into a production line and industry and make things faster, it cheapens everything. So you start having kids losing faith in Santa. And by the end of the movie, it's, I got to go find somebody who still believes in me. It's literally the opposite of Ernest Saves Christmas. But it's
All right,
a
so
really
JT,
good movie.
For context, JT, this is a 1985 movie, and Santa is played by David Huddleston. And if you don't recognize that name, we're talking about Jeffrey Lebowski.
Nice. You're a Lebowski. I'm a Lebowski. By the way, when are we going to do a goddamn Big Lebowski episode?
Right?
God damn it. We're going to do it, and we're going to drink White Russians. We're going to do it on a Friday. It's going to be a WTF Friday. We're going to bump from Wednesday to Friday and get drunk and talk about the Big Lebowski.
You going to pay for that half and half using a personal checking?
Posted.
Yeah. This aggression will not stand. This aggression against the United States will not stand. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, so continue with sorry to derail us there.
So anyway, yeah, this is one that I've actually never seen. I hate to say it.
I don't think I've
couldn't
even heard of it.
You are missing out.
I've heard of it for sure.
I don't think it's talked about as much for the same reason that you were confused, John. Because a lot of people hear Santa Claus, the movie, they think Tim Allen, and this one's kind of gone. But this is there's a good 45 minutes at the beginning of this movie where he's learning about, you know, his magic and his purpose, and it's more of the elves are appointing him to this. And they make it into a sacred thing that you got to bring joy to the children. There's even a moment where he asks, like, how am I supposed to deliver toys to every child in the world in one night with these reindeer pulling that sleigh? How does that work? And it's got a little 80s. It's magic. That's the answer. The whole movie. The answer is it's magic.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, you make a good case for it being underrated because IMDb has it at a 6.3 out of 10 and Rotten Tomatoes has it at 22%.
Wow.
So it's not hard to have this thing be better than its scores.
There is a character in the film that probably drives it down for most people. And spoilers, it's the little girl who never stops believing in Santa Claus. Not a good performance, but also small child. Give her some credit. She's doing her best.
I believe we are shitting on probably Cornelia?
Is it?
Carrie
well, all I know is
I don't know.
All I know is that Shane O'Mac is about to lose a 30-year friendship and get banned from the chat. Slightly off topic, but I have to bring this up so that people can annihilate him. Shane O'Mac, Shane Waffles Hardy says, never. Lebowski is overrated. Shane? I said what I said. I said what I said. You have obviously no taste in pop culture. You went to see my band shitloads of times over the course of 15 years. So clearly you have no taste.
Oh,
there it is. There it is, Kale. Give him a timeout.
Kale, call it for a timeout. Someone's got to earn the second timeout in the lifetime of this show. So, ooh, it's close. Ooh, it's close.
Ooh, which Drake is going to yell at the other Drake for putting someone in timeout? I want to see.
Here's what I'm going to do, though. I'm going to leave that power up to JT. JT has the power of timeout as well. Let's see if he uses it.
I will not. I love Shane. He's a complete and total goddamn. No, you're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole. Shane is an asshole. Anybody who says Lebowski is overrated is an asshole. So there we go. See? Here's Dave. Bathrobe, wig, White Russian. Next Halloween, I'm the small Lebowski.
I'm going to need pictures.
Oh, my God. Dude, Dave, let's go to a Halloween party together. And if I don't lose all this weight, we will dress in the exact same costume, and you'll be the small Lebowski, and I'll be the bigger Lebowski. That would be excellent. Holy shit.
There has to be a third here. AJ, you got to be the actual big Lebowski on this one.
I would just be the medium Lebowski. Yeah.
No, dude, if your hair doesn't fully come back, just shave your head, and you could be the what the hell's his name? The guy sitting on the couch, like.
Oh shit!
Would you like a drink? Yeah, the boss over there.
So I just get to be the one giggling at the magazine the whole time.
Who the fuck is that guy? Oh, it's a friend with a cleft asshole.
I'm gonna go as Maud. He's a good man and thorough.
Just walk up to people and go, a vagina. A vagina.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. All right, so
I don't even know how to get this back on. Well, but okay, so we've talked about this one already a little bit, so let's shit on it some more. How about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
All right, now we come to the big one. This is my number one over. See, Dave, this you need to get on camera, Dave. Dave and I have been friends for holy shit, like 25 years, I think. And we have argued about this in perpetuity. I have tried to watch this movie so many times and have never gotten all the way through it. I keep going, what am I missing? And granted, I am not a Chevy Chase fan. I think you want to talk about one of the most, if not the most, overrated comedic legends to ever be. To me, I would put him at in the top 5, top 3, maybe number 1. I don't understand why people think he's funny. But even that notwithstanding, I just don't think it's that funny. And it's a National Lampoon movie, and I think I might feel that way because I'm comparing this and even stuff like, Vacation itself, which is better. European Vacation, I'm comparing it to like Caddyshack, Animal House. And I'm sorry, but those movies, especially Christmas Vacation, are not on that. It isn't on that level. It's not Caddyshack, man. It's not Animal House. I keep trying to find something that I'm missing, and I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out.
Is the movie overrated because it's been shoved down your throat? Like,
yes.
No.
For a long time, I did not enjoy A Christmas Story because it was like Legend. It was like Labyrinth when I was in high school. You go to somebody's house for the 500th time. What are we going to do tonight? Let's watch Labyrinth. Let's watch Legend. Let's watch A Christmas Story. I said for a time, John. Please put it down for now.
Sorry.
Christmas Story, A Christmas Vacation was always on TV. It was always on syndication. It was always the TNT Christmas movie of the week when it wasn't the week of Christmas. And it's, for me, the only vacation movie I will willingly sit down and watch. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain to you that the movie's funny. To me, I think the vacation jokes land better in Christmas Vacation because it's all confined to the house. Instead of, well, we're driving and now we're in this situation. Well, no, this is all happening under his roof. And that's why it's funny, because it won't go away.
Okay. By the way, Kale McLeish says, if you insult Labyrinth again, I'm coming on camera just to flip you off with John.
Is that all it takes, Kale?
Yeah, it's easy.
Look at look at Dave. See, Dave, on this show, we're actually allowed to make these comments. Dave Hudak says, if shoved down John's throat, God damn it. I think Dave is drinking as well. If shoved down John's throat made things overrated, my dick wouldn't have 5 stars. Look, man. There's our.
Oh my God. You know, we asked for participation, and this is what we get. We've done it to ourselves.
You know what though? Hey, what the hell?
You can't always get what you want.
Dude, yeah, I don't know.
And that's my answer. You know, maybe it is overrated. I enjoy the film. I enjoy the film, I think, for the nostalgia reasons. But I remember when this was shoved down your throat on syndication. And there is a point where that movie that you're insisting is funny. I don't get it. I understand why, especially if you don't like Chevy Chase. I don't think he's the funny part of the movie. I think the family is what's funny and how they react to him.
Yes. Yeah, I'll go with that. And also harassing the neighbors across the street. I don't know what kind of a vampire Julia Louis-Dreyfus is, but I swear to God, she looks the same in this movie as she looks in Seinfeld, as she looks as whatever DeFontaine, whatever she's playing in the Marvel universe right now. Like, that woman has not aged in like 40 years. It's insane. We're all watching JT yell in silence. And he didn't hear that, so it's great.
No, I heard it. It sounds either
had to refill
really
his
big,
drink.
No, either something really big landed on the kitchen floor upstairs, or someone was really knocking on my door. And
maybe it's Santa's reindeer.
It could be. But speaking of Santa's reindeer,
maybe it's Billy Bob Thornton. He's come to take all your stuff.
we have a special guest. We have Homer Simpson jumping in with us. AJ, let's flip the AJ, let's flip the view here so that we can get our buddy Kale on. There we go. What is up, man?
We are so bad here. Let me
Kale McLeish is here.
Okay, now it's a party.
Now it's an absolute party. I am so glad you're here, man.
All right. I have to correct Dave on something real quick, Kale. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Dave says it's an acquired taste. Talking about Christmas Vacation. I don't get Nacho Libre, but John loves it. It's like coffee or Dave Matthews or butt sex. God damn. I do not see Dave nearly enough. Dave, I can't say that I love Nacho Libre. I think certain jokes hit so hard for me that it's hilarious. The rest is shit. So I get where you're coming from, but I like me loving it, but I wouldn't say, but I understand why you don't like it. I understand why a lot of people don't like it. But yeah, all right. So Kale, Christmas Vacation. Obviously, you came on to talk about Christmas Vacation. Where do you stand? Is this overrated or underrated? Like,
highly overrated.
There we
highly
go.
Overrated.
Okay.
When your lead actor's not actually funny, why do you have him as your lead actor?
Well, and see,
isn't that every Chevy Chase movie though?
And that's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
that's my point. Why do they keep making them?
Yeah. I mean, and Joe, Joe, to your point, when you said, like, is it because I don't like Chevy Chase, or is it overrated because they ram it down your throat so much? Let's be honest. There are tons of movies that get rammed down our throats in pop culture that still are incredible. And I'm sorry to go back to the obvious low hanging fruit, Star Wars. I mean, A New Hope is just fucking amazing. Let's face it.
Gonna go there. Yeah.
I mean, come on. There are tons of movies that get rammed down your throat, and you're like, God damn, all right, fine. Like The Godfather. I've had so many of my friends be like, oh, you just like it because you're Italian. You like mob movies. It's 3 hours long. I'm not watching it. I'm like, dude, trust me, watch it. They watch it and they go, holy shit, this is great. I don't think that's the case with Christmas Vacation. For me personally, again, and I'm in the minority, so I'm missing something. That's why I keep trying to rewatch it. I don't know how you feel, Kale, but I feel like I'm missing something because everybody loves the damn movie. So I'm like, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I can kind of see that, but at the same time, I don't find it funny.
Okay.
I tried it. It's like coffee to me. I don't like coffee. You like it? Good for you.
Why did you have to mention Why did you have to mention coffee?
Anymore.
Now I got to mention Dave Matthews and the other thing Dave said.
Well,
Now,
Dave
Kale, is part of the
Matthews
problem
good
that
if
you're
you
watching
take
this
it
guy
with
in
the
December and it's like cold and snowy instead of like the middle of summer?
Yeah, well, that definitely makes it interesting. Especially when it comes to all the Christmas songs. It's like, Baby It's Cold. It's like, no, it ain't. Freaking 42 degrees out here.
For those who don't know, Kale is Austrian. So let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Okay, seriously, we're gonna do the Brian
That
joke
was
on
terrible.
dude, Kale. Poor Kale, he gets the Austrian joke on both of my shows.
On both
Son of a
freaking podcasts.
What the fuck? Wow.
Oh,
Give this man a break. It's tomorrow for him.
it is.
True. He's living in the future.
Well, he does drive a DeLorean. That was way too obvious. I had to say it out loud.
I'm jealous.
All right,
I don't know. That's the problem.
They break down a lot, so actually you're better off not having one of those
Yeah,
things.
well, I'd like to be actually able to do the 110 k's down the highway, not be stuck at 88.
Well, if you hit 110K, you wouldn't be there because you'd be someplace else. So think about that. Ooh.
Or somewhere else.
Gonna go back in time. I'm a doctor. Where are we going this time? All right.
Oh God, there we go. We got it in. We got
The whole song will be available on Patreon. Patreon.com/NHC. So anyway, all right. So back to I for you guys, Kale, you kind of mentioned it. Joe, where do you stand on Christmas Vacation? If it's overrated for you, is it, first of all?
It's a film I enjoy. So I think it's definitely overrated.
Okay.
But it's up there with every other movie that's been just, oh, did you want to listen to your favorite song today? Well, guess what? It's K-She. We're listening to something from the 80s or the 70s again. It's up there with that.
So what makes it overrated to you? I mean, is it just the fact that like everybody tells you have to like it? Or is there something? Because that's what I get. Because all of us consider it's overrated. So I want, Kale's, talked about it. I want you to talk, and AJ as well. So, but for you, Joe, what outside of the fact that everyone in the world tells you that this is one of those Christmas classics, like what is it that makes it overrated for you?
I think that's the answer, at least in the case of this movie. It's the jokes. The jokes land for me. I enjoy watching the movie. It's one of the films I will watch at Christmas time, but I remember liking this movie and wanting to watch it with my friends before anyone ever insisted that you had to watch Christmas Vacation because it's December. I'll watch Christmas Vacation in March. I don't care. But when you tell me I have to watch it when everybody talks about it, I don't want to say it's like fake nostalgia. It's like or revisionist history or the member berries when it's not actually real, but everybody tells you like, you know what? It's December. We should watch. We should list these movies we're going to watch this month. Nobody says Lethal Weapon anymore, but everybody wants Christmas Vacation. Everybody wants Christmas Vacation on that list. And for that reason, it's very overrated. Because I don't think that many people think it's funny. Like, closer to what JT said, I don't think a lot of people think the movie's funny. But everybody wants to watch it.
All right, Shane. You are really testing me with the timeout button, dude. Shane O'Mac, Shane Waffles Hardy says, I'm kind of the same way with A Christmas Story. Love it, but it's been crammed down my throat so much. Shane, seriously, you're testing me. Am I going
to agree with this? It's on my list of overrated.
I don't give a fuck what's on your list of overrated. And by the way, before he comes back, don't ever change my background, asshole. I had our background set to Ralphie's house. Now you can come back. There. A Christmas Story rules.
I'll have you know that I slaved over a steaming hot AI prompt for at least 23 minutes to come up with our background today. All right?
23 seconds? That's
No,
okay.
actually,
less than
23
that.
minutes. I stuck with the AI prompts. I don't know how to talk to robots apparently.
Jesus.
If
All
that
right,
took you 23 minutes, you are a really slow typer.
Oh boy, Chastity. All right, I think we're gonna talk about it. Chastity Crawley says, "I'm about to get banned." Chaz, put it in the chat. Go ahead. Agree with Shane. Agree with AJ.
Oh, this can't go good.
Son of a bitch. All right,
Just
so
waiting here.
I enjoy watching A Christmas Story. I really enjoy it. I look forward to it. I don't want to turn on the TV and let it run all day on Christmas. And the reason? I'm a Peanuts fan.
okay.
Whoop.
Nice.
How?
Listen, guys. Fuck anybody who doesn't think A Christmas Story is the greatest Christmas movie ever. Yeah, you'll come back on the show in a minute, but not till I'm done talking. It's the best Christmas movie there is. It's awesome. You got Ralphie. You got the Red Ryder BB gun. You've got Scud Farkas. The little kid beats up the bully, man. The little kid is like 8 years old, 10 years old, says son of a bitch in an era where no kids curse. He sticks his tongue to the pole. That movie defines what it is to be a kid. It's amazing. All right. Now you guys can come back.
You put my eye out, kid.
What the hell is Joe doing? What is that?
I don't know.
I'm pretending to
What
be
was
AJ.
that?
I was trying to confuse John.
So,
If you had the right background, it would have worked.
Yeah, absolutely. But
so,
the biggest breath of fresh air with A Christmas Story was Christmas Story Christmas.
thank you.
Talk about
Thank you.
a nostalgic sequel that actually worked.
Yes. And, you know, by the way, real quick, Dave, I really wish that you could. Dave, I wish you could pull this up on screen. Dave Hudak says, I have a picture of John at a wedding showing us how a piggy eats. That's very true. I had started drinking at a wedding with Dave and his wife. And his wife, I had a plate full of mashed potatoes because I like mashed potatoes. She said, show me how the piggy eats. And I went, fuck it. I knew what she was going for. So I did the Randy. Anyway.
Oh no.
Why
Okay,
did you
so
pull the
At
banner
a
down?
wedding too. Come on.
Hell yeah.
Well, you stopped your rant, so it just seemed cruel.
No.
But
I had
so
to get
actually,
that out. I love that. That is by far my favorite. And Joe, excellent point about A Christmas Story Christmas. So
this is what I love actually, because in my over column I have A Christmas Story. In my under column I have A Christmas Story Christmas. I think the second one, it's not really the second one, but the spiritual successor is kind of under the radar entirely. I don't know a whole lot of people.
We
even
call
know
that the
came out a couple
actual
years ago,
sequel, AJ.
right? Yeah, so I think that one, most people don't even know it exists. So it's underrated probably because people haven't seen it. But I don't think that the original is as good as it's advertised. It's a great movie, but damn, man, people would rather do that than go to church. It's ridiculous how faithful they are to that movie. I love it, but I don't think it needs to be on a 24-hour marathon, John. That's what I'm saying.
But is that just because of the repetition, or has it actually just deteriorated for you?
Well, no. I think it's a great movie, but I think its hype has exceeded its quality.
You know what? I kind of think that's fair. It's something that has been done a lot and done again and then done again and then done again, and then it's kind of overdoing it a little bit. But
It's elevated to like
doesn't make it bad.
Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, Citizen Kane kind of status now with the hype level. I'm like, it's a good movie, but it's not like, if I had to, save 10 films of all of human history before the apocalypse, that wouldn't be in the list.
But I think the reason that it is as high on people's lists as it is, for me, Shane Waffle Sardi says, exactly, AJ. TBS killed us with it. I mean, it's only one day. And admittedly, my wife gives me shit because I do turn a TV on.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December.
Look at that. See, another Nerfherder Council first. We have a Charles Dickens quote. Literary, as it were. I just think for me, the reason that I love it so much, first of all, I do find it funny. But second of all, I think it absolutely, and Kale, you just said like it things have been done to death, yada yada. For me, it really nails the feel of being a kid. Like whenever I'm watching it, it's like I laugh because I'm like, yeah, like it reminds me of being a little kid. Like that's how I felt as a little kid when you wanted that one Christmas present. The one year there was a bass guitar that I just had to have more than anything else. The two Christmas presents I remember the most was a bass guitar, and then a few years before was this Lego spaceship that I had to have, and it was like the holy grail, And so for me, it absolutely just makes me feel like I'm 10 years old again.
Wasn't as cool as this one.
Nice. Well played, man.
The answer is no. It's not as cool as that one.
I have the Rebel bass.
There you go. All right, so Dave's on your side. AJ says, "LOL." AJ had that one in the chamber.
Well, you teed me up, man. I had to.
I know. No, I just, dude. There's like a feel, like a nostalgic feel to that movie that these other films just don't hit for me. It's like that. There's just a youthful excitement, to use a cliche term. There's like a youthful excitement to it that just reminds me of exactly what Christmas felt like.
Okay.
Now, I will say,
I can give you that.
I will give you guys this though. Part of the reason that it grows and grows for me is because I can literally go see that house. I can drive like 35 minutes, and go see it. Like, and I can stand in front of it, like the actual place. I mean, tomorrow at work, like, they're judging Christmas like, let's have the, a funny Christmas outfit. Well, I have the head to toe bunny suit with the slippers. So guess who's going to work?
I had a photo of that. That would be up on the screen right now so fast.
Dude, it's happening.
I've seen it, guys. It's horrific. It really
Did you get the cops called on you by the homeowner when you decided to stand in front of their house and take pictures?
No, I didn't do it in front of the house, but I will say this, like I have the official leg lamp too, like the most expensive leg lamp they make. And our neighbor called us yesterday to say, hey, we're going out of town for 2 weeks, just so you know, if you don't see us, like, whatever. And if you have family over for the holidays, let them park in the driveway. And they said, oh, by the way, the leg lamp is amazing. And the only reason I know that they were talking about that because my wife was talking to him, and all of a sudden I heard Steph start laughing. He goes, oh, he loves that thing. That's John's. And I'm like, the leg lamp.
What's a major award?
Could have been anything else in the house.
All the way from Italy.
Exactly. By the way, Shane, I will pull this up for Kale's benefit. Kale, Shane O'Mac says, bravo, slow clap, rebel bass. So, all right. So,
Chastity.
You guys,
Chastity pissing all over your nostalgia right there. I can go to the field for The Sandlot, but it's not my favorite summer movie. Being close to something doesn't make it super high on the list. There you go. I feel like now is a good time to bring up possibly an underrated Christmas movie then, based on her attitude. It's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring Jim Carrey.
I
need my wife on from my childhood, so
underrated.
I need my wife on for that. I
had to specify it's the Jim Carrey version. It's not the animated one.
Underrated.
Yeah, the animated one will forever be underrated because it is beautiful and perfect and wonderful and like unfucking touchable.
I don't think it's under though. I think everybody agrees with that point. So
yes.
I couldn't put it on the list. That's that's in the honorable mention. Great, but not over or under.
Visiting the Christmas Story house, Dave Hudick says, "You can go see where Dahmer lived too, you degenerate." Nice. All right, back on topic.
Ouch.
AJ, stay on topic.
In a full bunny suit, no less.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'd pay for that.
I really wish my wife was on or my stepdaughter. Like they swear by the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. Like to me, I have no feeling whatsoever. I'm like, okay, this is entertaining. The one thing I will say is that if you're going to do a live action version of Dr. Seuss, I don't know how you could get any. Oh, see there, look, there she is. There she is, my wife. Oh, she's so beautiful. Steph, we're talking about the Grinch. She says, Shane Waffles Hardy, see? That's what I try and tell John. Yes. All right, so
you misquoted her. That is
not what that says.
And tell John.
Look, man, she's watching TV in bed and somehow magically watching me. So I give her all the credit in the world. Yeah, I think I don't think there's a better Dr. Seuss adaptation than this one. It's I mean, Jim Carrey is the perfect person to recreate a Dr. Seuss character. I think the visuals are absolutely incredible. So yeah, I mean, you guys talk about it because I haven't seen it all the way through. I've only seen it bits and pieces here and there. So which means I will end up watching it with Steph while we're off for the next 2 weeks. But I mean, talk about this because I think I would agree that this is wildly underrated. My
opinion is largely the same as yours. Like if you're going to do a live action version of a cartoon, especially a Dr. Seuss, book like that, usually JT, you and I both don't like the Jim Carrey era, like the Ace Ventura movies, for example, where he's a complete, cartoon character, really, right?
The overacting.
It's the one time where it works perfectly. This is absolutely who you need to be that overacting, ridiculous nonsense guy. This is like in Living Color era Jim Carrey to perfection.
It's also the reason that they tried. You know what, guys? We could do a Cat in a Hat. Who are we going to get to play the cat? Mike Myers. Oh, that didn't work. We could try the Lorax. Who are we going to get to play that? I don't know, because I refuse to watch that. But
it was Danny DeVito.
The Grinch?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this funny. As serious as the book is supposed to be, and I know it's for kids, but as serious as the animated Christmas classic is, you give it to Jim Carrey and say, what do you want to do with it? And I don't think they set out, to put him through daily physical hell to be in that makeup, but every time he talks about getting training on how to endure torture to get through that movie and still have enough of Jim Carrey in there to decide, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to make fun of Ron Howard to his face. And he's going to think it's hilarious and he's going to put it in the movie. To take the movie in a totally different direction and let it be less of, I hate everything about this and I'm going to fuck with these people. In a way, it's the Grinch is just Jim Carrey, but who cares? Everything that we love about Jim Carrey, including, the comedic stuff he did with Ace Ventura, we love because of what he did on In Living Color with the physical comedy. And I still think he's one of the better physical comedy guys of the last 30 years, period, bar none. He can throw himself on the floor, and that is a lost art in most places.
He's like a good version of Chevy Chase.
Seen it.
It's definitely underrated because the people that have seen it.
What did you say, Kale?
I said he says we all owe it up to In Living Color, but I haven't seen that. That's out of my generation. I haven't seen it. I still love Jim Carrey. He has transcended that stuff.
True. Yeah.
Well, I would say transcended, Kale, but I think if you haven't seen the In Living Color sketches, I definitely look them up on YouTube because stuff like Fire Marshal Bill, and I mean, like, you could definitely see where his, I would say his overacting stuff came from. It's basically almost identical to Adam Sandler, like that career trajectory where Adam Sandler was like, doing all the goofy accents and all that crap. And then, the first movie was like Billy Madison and stuff like that. And then it got a little more, it's still funny as it goes, but a little more serious and not as over the top. Like, it's basically like that. So,
why has Adam Sandler seemed to set up a trend where one's good, the next one's terrible, the next one's good, the next one's terrible?
Because it doesn't matter. Do you know who earned the most money?
He must have been raised on Star Trek movies.
What I read was,
that's fair.
Well played.
That's fair.
I read
Metallica records.
You shut up.
Hey,
Kale will debate that all day long.
You shut up.
I'm looking forward to that.
well, see, Kale. Now you may have to come onto the fan hangout on Friday. We'll get Joe on, and you guys can debate.
If only there were time. If only there were time.
You have time. Stop it.
I do not.
So
I
Miranda,
He doesn't,
Miranda,
John. We've already established this. He's in Tomorrow now.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's listening to the next album already. That's why his order is off.
73 seasons. Miranda
69.
says, "Great to see you, Miranda." By the way, says, "I think he redefined the Grinch. He became the Grinch everyone copies and recognizes as the character." You know what? I actually completely agree with that. Dave, yes, there is a debate. Justice, not puppets. Yeah, I would agree with that, Miranda. One of the things I was going to say was that I kind of think like that actually ties into what I was going to say, which I think is like the book is almost like a Cliff Notes version of the movie, because I think they perfectly in that movie kind of nailed the heart and soul of it. And in the book, like the Grinch is evil and everything, but there's a little bit of mischief and kind of dark mischief, I would say. And that's in everything that's in the book that you kind of think would be there is all fleshed out in the movie. So the book almost becomes like the Cliff Notes version of the film. So I thought that was really, really cool how they did it. So Dave, God damn it, yes, there is a debate, and Justice for All is better than Master of Puppets.
This is the other reason why I think this movie is underrated, though, because so many times you have this stuff where they take like the other Dr. Seuss books, for example, or any sort of like a short story where then they build out like this feature-length movie from it, and they just invent all this shit that is like, why bother? That this thing should have been half the length. Stick to the script. Quit padding it out. And somehow they managed to make a better movie than the book set up. So that's why I figure like for what they tried to make, I think they went way and above what they had to produce.
Well, and I think for such a classic book, I mean, everybody knows the Grinch. They didn't disgrace the source material. And they actually, as you just said, they kind of like improved. I can't say improved on it because you can't improve on Dr. Seuss, but they fleshed it out in ways that were, I'm just going to be as blunt as I can, that were good. Because when you're trying to mess with source material
blunt.
like that,
oh my god.
Well, but here's the thing though.
Hold on, I have a ticker for that.
For the love of God, here we go.
Oh, God damn it. Here we
That's
go.
fine. Here we go. That's fine. That's fine. Dude, like, but when you're messing with source material like that, it's a 99% certainty you're gonna mess it up and make it worse. And there's that 1% chance you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is actually worth a damn. And I will use Top Gun Maverick as an example. The whole world was like, hell yeah, sequel to Top Gun. Meanwhile, every single one of us were like, oh God, please don't. Whatever you do, please don't, because you just don't want to shit on the original. And God damn you.
Oh dear, here we go. Background voice.
And yet they absolutely nailed it. So I mean, they actually did a great job. They made additions to that canon. They made it.
What am I even looking at now?
Like they actually made it good. It was actually something that palatable, and I think it added a little something to the lore of the Grinch. So,
but that's exactly the thing. I think Jim Carrey takes it in exactly the right direction. He knows the source material well enough that it's like, hey, I think the Grinch would do this. This is just me reading into the thing. This is what I think we would do next. And it works. He's not just being, I'm Jim Carrey, this is what I think's funny, let's do this. It's like, I'm Jim Carrey, this is the Grinch, between the two of us, this is where we're taking it.
Right. He's not a bad guy. He's just been wronged a few times. And you know what? I'm going to mess with you.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that moment when we realized that Cindy Lou Who is now the singer of The Pretty Reckless.
Dude, isn't that crazy? That, I don't, total commentary for my other show, but not a good band. Anyway,
they had like one good song, but yeah.
Dude, AJ, I think that is an excellent choice for an underrated movie. I'm trying to think if I have any other movies I'm really passionate about. in terms of.
Yes, there's one that
Oh,
we've left
wait.
off the list.
I was gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this, and then I will mention the movie, and let's see if it's the one that I think you're thinking of. This one, to me, I am middle of the road. Again, this is one that my family thinks is incredible. I've watched it. I think it's funny. It's cool. People who think it's like the most amazing Christmas movie ever, I would not agree. People that think that it's like a piece of garbage, it's, just not worth anything. It's, one of this actor's like worst movies. I would not agree with that. But I think it's funny. And again, this one, I think the one thing I will say about this movie is I think it has a huge heart to it. I give it a lot of credit because the whole movie is just up. You feel happy the whole time. Even the downer parts, you're just not that down. So, yeah. So to me, it's middle of the road. I don't think it's over or underrated. AJ, what are your thoughts? And then Kale and Joe, let's see if you guys can at any time jump in, make a guess if you can. But AJ, why do you think it's overrated?
Fuck, I'm not even sure we're talking about the same movie.
Oh, I
no idea what we're talking about.
I know we're talking about the same movie.
Okay. For me, this one resides on the better side of. Apologies, Miranda. If anything's going to trigger her to get on camera, this is going to do it. This is on the better side of the. We've all got this bin of movies that we just don't understand.
God damn you, Dave.
We just don't understand, right? Like, I would put this in the good side of the bin of Super Troopers.
Okay.
Which is a movie that people friggin' love, and I don't even know when the jokes land because I'm like, oh, that was the punchline. Okay. This movie is like that, but it's in the good side where like at least it's like I could tell where the jokes are, and they're funny. They're just not like uproariously funny that. Like, I'm surprised this one doesn't have a 24-hour marathon on TBS. It's a great movie, but it's not to the level that they've done it to.
Okay. By the way, Dave Hudek's guess for this movie is Falling Down.
What? What?
Dude, Dave is one of like he's easily one of the top 2 or 3 funniest people I've ever met. I can't, dude. Imagine being in a band with that guy for 10 fucking years. Oh my God, it's I'm so glad I wasn't the lead singer in that band because there's no way I could have gotten through shows with him. Oh my God. Anyway, all right. So, Kale, Joe, do you guys have a guess as to do you have a guess as to what movie we're talking about? And AJ might be talking about a different movie than I am, but we are talking about
slightly.
One of you is talking about Gremlins. I'm not sure who.
That is not what I'm talking about.
No, we have actually we covered Gremlins earlier. We said it's not actually a Christmas movie because it takes place at Christmas, but Christmas has the only bearing Christmas has on the plot of Gremlins is that the Mogwai is a Christmas present. If it was a birthday present, it would still be the same story. So
doesn't the whole thing end up in a toy store? Or am I thinking of the second one?
That's the second one. It's like that high rise or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so the second one's more Christmassy than the first one.
All right, so it's not Gremlins. Next guess, and then we will tell you what we are talking about.
Yeah, I got
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
There was a first one?
There's been 5 of them, I think.
Oh dear.
You should do a horror movie podcast, Joe.
Yeah, it's on my list. You can't do much better than wide eyes at the camera. Garbage Day!
Nice.
I know we're not talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special because I'm pretty sure we signed a contract saying we can't.
That doesn't exist. Revisionist history.
We're banned. We're talking about Rashi and Discharge.
Here's the grand reveal.
I can put that shirt on if you want.
Please do.
Off you go.
That is not it.
There it is.
Oh, that one. That one.
Agreed.
There it is.
Agreed. Fully agree. 100%. Here's the deal. I'm sorry, John. I can't stop.
For the benefit of our audio viewers, we are talking about Elf.
AJ, thank you. One of us had to do it.
Will Ferrell is funny when he is a character in a scene or he is playing a role in the overall plot. When you put the entire crux of the movie on his shoulders and just let him be loud.
I'm not even letting him finish that because of Anchorman and Anchorman 2. Fuck
I was
you,
literally about to say Anchorman.
What? And dude, Blades of Steel or Blades of Glory, Blades of Steel. There we go, video game reference. Dude, Talladega Nights. I mean, come on, Joe. All right, Joe. When you have reconsidered your blaspheme, you can come back. All right, you can come back. Seriously,
Feel
Joe.
proud of yourself.
He is not in the Chevy Chase category.
He is in Elf.
I can give you that. In that film, yes.
I'll give you that. Actually, you know what? I can't be an ass. I'll give you your opinion of him as a whole because I did shit on Chevy Chase as, you know, in the same exact vein. So maybe he's one of those guys that you just don't find funny.
In Elf? No. And I realize how my point could be misconstrued. I'm a huge fan of Anchorman. I'm the jury's out on Talladega Nights in my brain, but Elf, I cannot stand it. I cannot
you just
stand
really
it.
pissed him off there.
I can't stand Elf.
No,
I will
Elf-
leave the
Elf
room.
Elf
I will leave the
Wow.
house. I'm great seeing everybody for the holiday, but if you're going to sit here and watch Elf, I can find something else to do.
Something
That's
else.
wow. I
dude.
mean, I don't like it as much as it's hyped up to be, but I wouldn't say it's that bad, Joe. Jeez.
Overrated. I don't like it.
I think Shane O'Mac kind of nails it here. He says Elf is a modern favorite, but not an overall favorite. I think that's
It's
a good
not
way to
even that
phrase it.
modern anymore, though, is it?
No, that's a dude. That's. I mean, you were probably what, less than 10 years old.
I
that came
definitely
out,
would have been.
Cam? Less than.
I'm just
6?
looking at the release date. Yeah, November 7th, 2003. So we're looking at a 22-year-old movie here, people.
So you were what?
4 or 5, something like that.
Okay, I love you, but it took you a long time to do some very simple math there.
I don't have brain. Computer tells me numbers.
I gotta give Shane O'Mac this. He says, I'm 45. Anything since 2000 is modern to me. It does feel like that. I completely agree. Completely agree. And Billy Judd, thanks for tuning in. Great to see you again. Says Elf is actually good, Joe.
I don't like it.
Look at Dave Hudek again. Will Ferrell. That movie where he leaves his family to die in the avalanche was funny as hell. So damn
Yeah, like there's good parts of it. There's good parts of this movie, but not to the level that this thing is revered now with all the greatest Christmas movies of all time. I just don't see it. And maybe it's because most of us on this panel right here, we are all of the age where we were adults when it came out, and maybe that's why like the magic was lost on us. I don't know. But there are movies that are newer than this that I still think are fantastic and better on this list. So I don't think it's that, but it might be. I don't know. Maybe if you're, like I said, under the age of 10 when you saw it, maybe it's like in How I Met Your Mother with the Ewok line. If you were over a certain age when Return of the Jedi came out, Ewoks are ridiculous teddy bears and destroyed the trilogy. And if you're under a certain age, then everything's fine.
Yeah,
so maybe this is the same with
teddy
Elf.
bear.
Like kids are dumb.
See, I don't know. I think with this one, I am so middle of the road on this movie. I can't say it's over or underrated because people that really, really like it, I understand why. People that don't like it, I really understand why. It's one of those very rare movies where I'm literally 50-50. Me, when I watch it, it's kind of like background noise. I wouldn't seek it out to watch it, but if it's on, I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. I think because this is one of and you know, Joe, to your point, and Kale, you're really good at this kind of stuff, like, you know, where, you know, knowing the artistic value of what an actor or a musician is doing.
Yeah.
I think in this one, you know, Will Ferrell in his other movies has been the focal point, like Ron Burgundy, you know, the other movies we talked about, like Talladega Nights, you know, Ricky Bobby, like all this stuff, like. But I think in this one, Buddy the Elf, like I kind of feel like that because it's set at Christmas and all the other stuff that's going on around him, he is playing a character as strong as those other ones. But I don't think it's as much the center of the movie, because there are enough other things happening, enough set pieces outside of him just making funny jokes, to where I think it's not as extreme. I mean, Kale, what do you think about that? Because I mean, you're good at like kind of feeling those sorts of things out. Does that make any sense? Like what I just said, or
what you're saying makes absolute sense, but to a certain extent, I think it's meant to be that he is the focal point, but because he's up all the time, it's everything that's going on around him that creates the atmosphere of the film, that creates the actual tension, that creates the plot. So it becomes that the focal point is something that you're almost trying to block out a little bit, because I don't feel like he has all that much emotional depth. It's just like, I'm an elf, look at me, yeah, and everything's like, okay, this is.
That's why I don't like it. And part of my problem might be, I just checked before I said this because I didn't believe it, but this is the first film where he was the star. He had done other films. He had been part of a group, but this was the first time you go to see Will Ferrell in a film. Just Will.
Damn.
This is before Ron Burgundy. This is after Old School.
That's so weird, because like I feel like he's definitely being Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that this is like the first time he got to do it for a whole movie.
Road Trip.
Yeah.
He's again part of the cast, but this is the first time you're going to see star of the film Will Ferrell in Elf. So
you know, he's also in this movie. He's like the only one who's funny. I think maybe that's the problem. Is like the entire world of the movie is a bunch of normal people, and even like Bob Newhart as like the grumpy old elf is he's playing it straight, right?
Yeah.
So Will Ferrell is the only one doing goofy shit in an entire movie. So rather than being like, oh, that's the punchline, it's like that whole character doesn't fit this world like at all. And I know that's kind of the point. It's like he's in New York and it's whatever. But even at the North Pole, he doesn't fit even with the other elves. And that's weird as shit.
well, but wait a minute though. But wait a minute, because he's not an elf. Like he's a grown human man. Like I think that's why it kind of works, because like and I'll you know, compare it to the Jim Carrey movies where he's just, you know, Ace Ventura, which is like, I mean, you want to talk about one of the least funny pair of movies I have ever seen, because it's just one guy acting like a complete fucking jerk while everybody else around him is just watching him vamp. It's like, okay, that's not funny. That's just, it's not like, you know, ugh. But in this context, you know, and Will Ferrell, you know, as the center of movies, you know, he does those things, but he's understated. He's a character that can blend in at least with the other characters in the films. Like the Anchorman stuff is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. But I think, you know, with Elf, the fact that he is supposed to be an elf from the North Pole, and it starts out where he's this like 6 foot tall guy among all the actual elves. You're like, oh, that's kind of ridiculous. And then he's an elf in New York City. Oh, that's kind of ridiculous. So you expect it to be ridiculous. So I think that kind of takes the edge off when he's a complete and total goof, because he doesn't actually belong in either world. And so the overacting and the over the top stuff, it's kind of expected, as opposed to something like Ace Ventura, where it's like, here's this murder mystery, and then you've got this guy doing this. Like, what the fuck is that?
That was
like,
good.
It's not funny.
Give
But,
that
I
man
mean,
a round of
That was
applause.
actually very
Joe, you've got
I mean-
you've got the tools, you've got the technology. I want a GIF of that.
No, dude, it's terrible. Like,
I'll take care of it.
That's kind of the point, though.
well, I know, but it's not funny. Whereas I feel like what Will Ferrell's doing in Elf is funny.
Yeah, but that's kind of also the problem, though, is that he's always at least attempting to be funny. And I think in its 2-hour runtime, it never gets into an actual emotional groove. There should be actually something that changes him. He is the same character going in that he is coming out.
Okay,
And
so-
that kind of bothers me.
that's an interesting point. Like, again, to me, this is a middle of the road, so I don't have it over or underrated. That point, Kale, I think I would disagree with you on, because I think I don't think there needs to be a change with his character, because I think his character is there, like, he's so up, and he basically is like the spirit of Christmas, to where he's there to bring everybody else up. You know, like his, actual father or whatever, like to break, okay, quit being a curmudgeon, like get into Christmas, yada, yada, yada. Like, I think Buddy is there to just be Buddy so that everybody else kind of gets on board with his outlook. So I don't think this is one of those rare movies where I don't think you need a progression. I think I think where he's concerned, he's there as the whole, hey, this is what
Even
Christmas
if it's
is
not
about.
a full progression, though, I feel like it needs something.
Okay. All right.
There should be a moment in the middle where it's like, oh, I suppose this isn't really working, and then resolves, okay, this is how I get on their level, this is how I get in there, and then start being Buddy,
Okay. No, I can't disagree. Like I say, I'm middle of the road on this one.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, no, I think you both have good points. Like, you're right, JT, to your point. Like, he's supposed to be Buddy. He's supposed to remind all these people who've forgotten. They have no Christmas spirit, right? That's the whole point. That's why Santa gets stranded at the end in Central Park. So Buddy's there to remind everybody else what they've forgotten about Christmas. But it would be nice if he took something away from them as well, instead of just being like, well, there was never a problem with me in the first place. I'm glad I fixed all you people. Bye.
But
so that's my issue, is like, as a character, you're right. He's very one note. And I think he could, it would be nice to say that the other characters he came across also had some redeeming qualities that imprinted on him, instead of just them getting along with his eccentricities.
But don't you think there's really no way to do that? Because it's almost like, he's there, like I say, you need to be on my level, man. Christmas is amazing. It just be awesome to everybody this time of year. I mean, what's he gonna get from the rest of them? They're gonna be like, yeah, we love Christmas. Hey, buddy, you should have a checking account. Like, you should have a car loan. Like,
I mean, that's the whole thing, is like, everyone's like, Jesus, is this kid ever going to grow up? Like, he's a middle-aged adult acting like a teenager. And I get that, but I don't know, maybe he could find a way to still be Buddy, but not be in perpetually like 9 years old.
It's a fish out of water story. It's been done before. Another actor would have done it not the same way, but in this, on that day, at that time, Will Ferrell's the star of the movie. There's an entire era of Will Ferrell's comedy, which is just be the loud, extreme, intense guy. And if you do that for 10 minutes, it goes somewhere. And for me, if you do that for 90 minutes and it never stops, I get tired of it. And I don't think it's funny, because at that time, John, you made fun of Ace Ventura earlier, but it's the same joke. Some of Jim Carrey's best jokes are the ones he does silently, but he makes an absurd thing happen. And at this point in his career, Will Ferrell's comedy was be loud, be intense all the time. Same thing happened with Adam Sandler at one point. So just on this day, at this time, you give me Elf, I'm like, it's not funny, guys. I don't like it. It's overrated.
Joe, I think you've hit on something right there. Because like you said, this is the first time he was like the main star of the show. And I think he was still doing his supporting character bit of being the cartoon for a whole movie instead of in like the small doses where it was funniest.
It's
Frank the Tank. You can't make a movie of Frank the Tank, but when he pops in and out of Luke Wilson's movie, it's funny.
Yeah, when he shows up in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and he's doing the SNL shtick of, all right, I'm here and I'm in control of the situation, and are we sure that that everything's over there? Okay, everything's good. Okay, I'm gonna leave now.
Give me Bruce Dickinson the movie.
What the fuck?
I want a full movie of cowbell.
Oh my god.
I have to sit lower now. It's too good.
There you go. There you go.
Kale, for Halloween, please just be Zordon one time for me. That is all.
We don't really do it that much over here anymore, man.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's had its time.
It'll be an easy one. It'll be a light with some makeup, and you just got to hang out on a wall for a day and a half. It's fine.
Yeah, that said, makeup on my face doesn't really work, especially eye stuff.
All right, so I have to bring up our buddy KX. I'm Scary. Great to see you again, man. Drops in just to say Tom Hanks is an asshole.
And now you can drop out again.
All right. All right.
In which film? And is that film overrated or underrated? And it has to be a holiday movie. I think we're running out of options here, guys.
Well, that's one we're going to bring up here to close it up because Miranda's got a good option. But Shane O'Mac, he says Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, Jack Black, Nick Cage. Overacting drives me crazy.
Dude.
Jack Black, Shane, I am 150% on board with you. He is, I mean, if you had a movie with Jack Black and Rob Riggle, I would absolutely I would just walk to a local theater and instead of buying a ticket, I would take a dump in front of the door and just walk away. That's my opinion of what a movie with those two in it would be. It is, I mean, two of the most least funny people ever. The best role that I think Jack Black ever did was the stoner loser older brother in Orange County. And no one's ever seen the movie. No one ever knows it, but he's a complete fucking loser. And he has one of the best movie lines ever. Because the main character is actually Tom Hanks' son, since we're talking about Tom Hanks, but Colin Hanks is the lead actor, and he's trying to get into college at in California or whatever. And he's freaking out, checking the mail and all this kind of stuff, and waiting for his acceptance letter. And he keeps freaking out. And Jack Black is the dumpy, shitty, loser older brother, and he's just sitting on the couch in tidy whities and nothing else. And he's later he's like, man, dude, you're overreacting. I mean, I never got into college, and check me out. I'm kick-ass. And to me, that's the funniest thing Jack Black has ever done. And everything else, even School of Rock is pretty good, but that one's borderline.
He used to have range, though.
Don't go.
Everybody forgets about him in the King Kong remake, where there's no comedy. He's just 100% serious. That movie made me believe Jack Black could be an amazing force of acting someday. And unfortunately, right now, I don't believe that anymore. He's become kind of a cartoon man.
Yes.
High Fidelity is great as well.
Yep. Dave Hudak says Jack Black in High Fidelity. All right. So before we get out of here,
Billy Judd has a quick thing on the Jack Black thing. This is why you can't trust Google, because I Googled top Christmas movies, and Dear Santa came up real quick. And yeah, not only is the movie spoiled for me, but also it came out this year, so it can't be a top Christmas movie because it's brand new. So yeah, this thing called Dear Santa, and he's on the poster as Santa, but his character is listed on Google as Satan. So there you go. I just spoiled the Jack Black Christmas movie for you.
It literally says that on the poster, though. Did you
not
read the tagline?
I didn't read it because I don't care, because it's a Jack Black movie.
It's the tagline, Jack Black is Satan.
No, it says Jack Black is Santa, but it's got the little pencil line through it, Satan. It's this is the joke.
Dude, look,
this is the premise of the film, is that the whole letter to Santa thing got misspelled. It went to the devil, and now the devil's here to play havoc.
Okay,
This is
I'm
a
looking-
weird
I'm looking at
sequel to the
artwork
Pick
now.
of
Yeah,
Destiny.
there's horns on the S, and the poster has like a wreath with his face on it, and there's a candy cane pitchfork, and it says "To Satan, North Pole." So okay, yeah.
Look, I stopped
It's
paying
not a
attention to Jack-
spoiler. It's a premise.
I don't care.
I'm already unentertained. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
haven't watched it.
yeah, it's Jack Black, which means instantly no. And second of all, it's Jack Black, no. And third of all, the fact that Tenacious D can play 20,000 seat sheds is so wildly disgusting to me that yeah.
Well,
so-
not anymore. They can't, because Jack Black's greatest role is the guy who throws Kyle Gass under the bus.
I think Kyle Gass did a damn good job of doing that himself. I don't think Jack Black really had anything to do with that. I think Kyle Gass just forgot to keep his mouth shut at the appropriate time. That is
And that
IGN's
happened
review
in
of
Australia.
Dear Santa is the Farrelly Brothers reunion with Jack Black is an unseasonable letdown. I haven't even read the article, but I mean they're shitting on it in the title, so clearly
Yes.
not a good movie.
If you do want a good recommendation for a modern Christmas movie that was released this year, check out Red One. That is actually quite fun.
funny you mentioned that. Dave Hudek wants to know, has anyone seen Red One? Is it worth it?
Yeah, dude, check it out. I would actually get behind that.
Well, funny you mentioned that because that was an idea that we batted around for the show. Actually, if enough people are down for a WTF Friday watch along, let's do it.
Oh, I'd happily watch that again.
I'm down.
I can't do it on Friday. I'm a little busy this coming Friday.
I don't think we meant this Friday.
Well, then I guess we don't get to have you along, then, do we?
Are you doing a Gatlin reunion show, John?
No, thank God.
Then you have no excuse.
Yeah, I do.
He's
have my
got
other
10 other
podcast.
Dream Theater fans that aren't me on his show.
Look, man, you're the one that bailed. Don't give me shit. You were one of the first people
I'm
I
not
basically.
giving you shit.
You just did.
I did not. I said you've got 10 other fans that aren't me, as in, holy crap, there's actual people that listen to this band other than me.
Actually, more importantly, holy crap, there's more people that actually watch that podcast than me. All right, so let's bring this one up here real quick. And then if you guys have any final thoughts about movies we missed, we'll get to that. But Miranda says, did you guys talk about Polar Express? We watch that every year in our house. I personally think it's overrated, but the graphics are pretty cool.
Yeah, we used to show that one in the schools.
I've never
People
seen
get
it,
behind it.
but it is popular enough to where we have a local railroad that still does like train trips. About 2.5 hour train trips from one city to another. And they do a Polar Express and it sells out like absolutely fucking immediately every year. It is an enormous attraction.
That's the movie he was talking about. That's the movie where Tom Hanks is an asshole.
Oh, okay.
I totally
Which
forgot about it.
which Tom Hanks? There's like 5 of them.
Yeah,
he plays like 5 different characters.
Tom Hanks.
He's Santa. He's the conductor. I think he's like 2 other people as well.
Is he Santa in that mocap?
Basically, everybody who's not one of the main 4 kids is Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad movie.
He plays every character.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's one of the. It might be the earliest modern example of what if we just did motion capture, but then animated on top of the actors, and it's rough. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
The uncanny
It's
valley
definitely
is present. I mean,
There we go. Yeah, I thank you, Billy Judd. Yeah, I was forgetting. Hanks is also the hobo in that movie too, so he plays at least 3 main characters, if not more, which is actually really cool. That part is fine, but yeah, you're right, Joe. Uncanny Valley to the max. Holy crap, this thing is hard to watch. Are you familiar with that concept,
why?
John?
I have no clue. I've never seen a second of film of this one.
So
it just
Uncanny
ain't.
Valley.
It looks like
Uncanny-
a PS2 video game.
Right. Uncanny Valley as a term means there is a place at which something is close enough to reality that we expect it to look natural, but it doesn't do it convincingly, and it's unnerving. So like cartoons, fine. You look totally weird and not like a human being or whatever. That's fine. The closer to reality you get, the more we buy in, and then it gets to a point where it's close enough to reality. We expect it to look like reality, but it doesn't. And there's that weird gap there between reality and what we're seeing on screen. And this is that. Like Joe said, they did like motion capture and they tried to make it look realistic, but they also tried to follow the style of the illustrations in the book. So shit is just weird enough while still trying to look like reality that it creeps people out.
Yeah. They could probably take the same motion capture and just give it to today's CGI artists, and it would probably look just fine the way it is. But it's the same. At times, it's the same quality as Monster House, and I like that film for what it is. But it's still like, okay, guys, so you have a green screen. And the only way we can capture your movements is if we put the camera here and we don't move it. So our only option is to animate the scene, but then you effectively have a static background and people moving inside of that. And yeah, I mean, I can't say this one's underrated, but it's.
See, the problem is the Monster House is exactly the movie I was comparing the animation to in my head this whole time. So I'm glad it's not just me.
But isn't it
right here, Cal? Come on.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's a Nerfherder Council first. We're literally 9 years in. We finally have our first virtual high five. I mean, but it sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you think they might not have been going for that? Like that mix of it looks like the book, it's animated, it looks like reality. Wasn't it? Because I've seen like a couple, I don't know, scenes from it, and it is unnerving, but I got the impression that it was kind of intended to be that way.
Thought you said you hadn't seen a second of the film.
Well, I lied. I remembered a minute ago that I'm like, oh yeah, that one. So
yeah, no, I think it is exactly what they're going for, but I think it pulls back by a step or two just enough that it makes it weird. It's a distortion of what we should be going for. It's the kind of movie that remaster it is all it needs. Not even remake, just literally take what's there, polish the character models a little bit. You've got a great Christmas movie.
Some artist, some CGI artist or some effects director had to write a synopsis of like, these are the lessons we learned from making this film. We've learned how we can actually move the camera during the motion capture, because they've made better films with the same technology since. That one just kind of stands out as we made the Polar Express, and it's a little uncanny valley, but hey, computers, it looks better than Reboot, and I love Reboot.
Well, look, I mean, yeah, it's literally a demo tape of a film, if you look at it with a modern lens.
Huh. That is an awesome phrase to use.
I wish I had read the book first or something and have some nostalgia for it, because I feel like a lot of my issues with this movie all come down to stuff that probably comes from the book. Like the kid with the really thick glasses, for example, is so damn annoying. Oh my God, I would have thrown him from the train so friggin' fast. Don't save that kid. He's a goner. Fuck him. Fuck him.
AJ is also
some human beings, you see them in child form as prototype human, and you're like, you know what, that adult's gonna be a piece of shit. Let's kill him now.
The views of the Nerfherder Council don't necessarily.
Okay, I'm going to be definitive. I'm going to say yes, it is overrated because it was released in 3D.
Oh God, was it?
God.
Oh,
I
I
didn't
would
even
love
think
it.
that
Really?
technology was out at the time.
It was
Oh.
released apparently in 3D and in standard definition, and that might be part of the problem. Is I think now that I'm thinking back to the way the film looks, it almost
Yep.
stands out as somebody said, how do we make the movie and how do we make it 3D, because that's going to be a thing now. And somebody said, well, so far the only thing we can get right with 3D is throwing the ball at the camera, and it's coming out to get you. And it really feels like somebody made some decisions with 3D in mind, but then had to mix it down.
Yeah, selling
Dude.
out for 3D. Exactly.
Wasn't
Yeah.
this the same era as like
That makes so
Spy
much
Kids
sense.
and
Yeah, some of those
Shark
shots, I'm like,
Boy?
why the hell?
Okay,
But
now I'm
yeah.
standing on a hill. It's overrated, because make the movie good first, then incorporate 3D into the filmmaking. Don't make it like, we have to make it in 3D, guys, so figure it out.
Dude, all I know
crap.
is you just said 3D, and I looked it up because I collect 3D Blu-rays. I have a 3D television, and my
Hey,
PlayStation
guys, I
VR.
gotta go. I'm getting a phone call.
Party on.
Kale, that's terrible podcast etiquette. I mean, good lord. Look at that guy.
You have a 3D TV, John, but do you
do.
have to wear the glasses with it?
Yes, but in my PlayStation VR headset, I do not. And
Because the
the
VR
polar-
headset is the glasses.
Joe, shut up. Apparently, this movie is available, so I could literally just buy it on 3D Blu-ray and watch it that way and see how disorienting it is. Now, is the story itself any good? Because I don't want to just piss away like a 3D purchase. Like,
The answer to that question, John, is it is a film made for children. Do you remember those like weird primetime public TV Christmas specials from the 80s that were like 20 minutes long, and it was a weird story about a guy and taking kids to the mall to play with Santa? Was that just me? There were a lot of those, but the point was like, it's Christmas time. That's kind of what the Polar Express is to me. It's all right, kids, it's Christmas. It's got some good some good moments. There's a scene involving a frozen lake. I won't spoil for you.
I do like it overall, but it's definitely on my overrated list.
okay.
Again, I think it might just be because we're too old when it came out. But as a children's book, it works, and I think as a film, it's probably the best they could have done at the time. I think a remake might be in a thing that would improve it. I don't know.
All right. Well, Kale's back. Let's give our final thoughts. We've been at this for 2 hours, which is longer than we normally go. So this is awesome. First of all, Kale.
Sorry, Mum called. You gotta answer when Mum calls, otherwise
True.
you're the bad son.
Yeah, we didn't ask. So
Well played. Well played.
yeah, so Kale, first of all, thanks for jumping on, man. Joe, thanks to you for jumping on. Final thoughts. I will start. We'll go around the horn. We'll go Kale after me. Yeah, most overrated to me will always be Christmas Vacation. And it breaks my heart because my good buddy Dave, who thank you for hanging out tonight, Dave. It's amazing to virtually see you. We'll get together very soon, as we talked about recently. I just don't get Christmas Vacation, man. I try and I try and I try. It's literally the only movie that I don't like that I keep trying to rewatch. And it's because so many of my friends, Dave is actually the number one, that they love it so much. I'm like, God, I got to get into this so I can, quote it with them and joke around with them about it. And I just can't. So yeah, underrated again. Bad Santa. I just, and I think it's underrated to me, first of all, because it's funny, but I think I might have a little bit of a bias because I have a dark sense of humor. And dude, when people are like, that's just it's not Christmas. Like, it makes it more funny that people dislike it because of how vile it is. So I love that. And I'm just, before I go,
Hey.
look at that guy. All right, we have a dog on the. Our audio viewers are gonna love this, but we have a dog on the show, and AJ and I are enormous dog people. So look at how cute she is. Oh my goodness. So yeah. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just gonna stand up again for Christmas Story. Love that. But most importantly, A Christmas Story Christmas. If you like A Christmas Story, I think you will like A Christmas Story Christmas. I will give you this. It does start slow. When I first saw it, I was like, no, this is really not good. But it picks up as it goes, thank goodness. So just make sure to watch it through. And I will say, AJ, this year it hits a little different because, the whole crux of the story is the old man dies. And I watched it the other night. And I was sitting there drinking a beer, and I was like, and it's like, the voiceover, nothing in life will prepare you for the death of a parent. I'm like, ooh, yeah, boy, ain't that the truth, Ralphie. All right, let's get to some leg lamps. But yeah, I think it's great. Like I say, it does take a bit to get into, but once it gets rolling, it has the spirit. I think it's an excellent sequel. It's not nearly as good as the first, but once it gets rolling, it has the spirit of it. The humor is there. It's got, the fan service, and it's just a fun movie. So those are my thoughts. So, Kale, final thoughts, overrated, underrated, favorite Christmas, whatever you want to talk about real quick.
Honestly, as much as we like to say something's overrated, something's underrated, that we want to push one to the side, that we want to bring one into the spotlight, it's Christmas, man. It's about doing what you love. It's about feeling good about yourself. And you know what? If something that we've said that we love doesn't hit for someone, or something that we've said we don't like does, go for it. It's Christmas. Enjoy it. Personally, I'm not a fan of Home Alone. You might be. Go for it. My opinion does not change yours. So have at it.
Love it, man. All right, Joe.
New traditions, old traditions. It's the holidays. You got to have a good time. If you watch the Peanuts Christmas like I do, Charlie Brown Christmas, then you know what it takes to get into the spirit of the season. And I think that's the most important thing. Is it's supposed to be a celebration. It's supposed to be about good vibes. And yeah, you just got to do the right thing. So underrated, overrated. Watch the movies you like, and watch the new ones too. Even watch the ones you don't like, because what you might have a tradition to sit down and watch The Grinch, and that has to happen. But if I don't get Violent Night every December for the rest of my life, I'm gonna have a bad time. Thanks, John.
And in that exact example, if you do watch The Grinch every year, why not try the Benedict Cumberbatch one this year? Mix it up a little.
All right,
get out of my house.
I'm not in your house. You're in mine.
No, you're in our house. You guys are in
Virtual high five revoked.
Yeah, high five removed. All right, AJ.
All right, yeah. Well, obviously, I made the list that we talked about tonight, so we've covered most of it. But there are a couple on my under list that I think are still worth a watch if you're looking for something newer to put yourself in the spirit. I'm a big sucker for animation. I don't know. I've always gotten in the feels with cartoons more than live action anyway. So a couple that go under the radar a little bit is one called Arthur Christmas. It's this idea that Santa has multiple sons, and the doofus of the bunch ends up being the savior of Christmas, not the golden child, the firstborn that is the heir apparent. So that one is amazing. And also the Netflix one from a couple of years ago, just simply called Klaus, which centers around a postman.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It looks very much like the old Don Bluth movies. Remember, like the animation style, like Land Before Time, things like that. It looks
Love it.
almost identically like that. And yeah, it's again heartwarming because it's one of those like you wouldn't expect this guy to be worth a shit at anything, but it turns out he's the most important character because Christmas. So couple heartwarming things, and that's what I love. And it's like your Christmas story fascination, John. It's that idea of there can be magic in the world if you choose to believe there's magic in the world. So I love those stories that you have the unlikely hero and the heartwarming idea that no matter how bad things can seem like they're going to turn out, there's always a chance they won't. So
there's magic in the world as long as you believe there's magic in the world. So don't be a muggle.
There you go.
Nice. Shano Max on board, man. Says agree, AJ. All right. Well, Joe and Kale, we'll drop you guys out real quick. Thank you guys for jumping on. Kale, bummer that you're not going to be on Friday, but you did open up your spot. But
yeah,
you do have my contact information. If you want to jump in, just shoot me a message. I'll shoot you the link. So
yeah, if there's time, I'll see what I can do. But
you have time. Quit being a bitch.
Right. Look, man, I'm gigging. I've been working flat out. I'm doing so much stuff to get it ready for Christmas because otherwise it's vice around me. So
yeah, well, I'm talking tonight. I'm talking 4 hours on Friday night and then gigging on Saturday. I don't want to hear your complaints. And you're half.
I'm working 5 hours tonight. I'm working 5 hours tomorrow. I'm working 7 hours Friday. So yeah, and then I'm gigging Saturday and Sunday with 2 hours of travel for each. So
I don't feel bad for you. No one wants to hear your whining. Get off the show.
Bye.
Love you. Yeah. Love you, brother.
Everybody.
Yeah. Love you, brother. Merry Christmas, dude. We'll see you, brother. Take care, man. So there goes Kale. Amazing friend. He is literally the very first viewer / fan, whatever you want to say, of my music podcast, Talking Into Infinity. So love him. Joe, as always, man, thank you for coming on. Dude, it's always excellent. You have amazingly intelligent commentary, whereas I don't. So you mix well with AJ, and I mix in a little bit of stupid, and it's that special stew that only the Nerfherder Council can provide when you're around. So appreciate you, man.
Well, thanks, guys. Check out the Fright Lab and Dr. Scott and the Dammit Janets. It's awesome.
I love you, man. Merry Christmas, dude.
Merry Christmas.
All right, take care, brother, man. Man, so there we go, dude.
And then there were two.
Yeah. Boy, that was fun as hell, man. Shane O'Mac, Merry Christmas. Dave, obviously Chastity, all you guys. Circle J, Aaron Taft, Billy Judd. Oh man. Dude, it's a very emotional time for me right now. This is, tomorrow I basically have what equates to a half day. And I am wearing my bunny suit to work. So I'm doing that.
And nothing else, right?
I wish I could say so, but but no. Yeah, so I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm taking my team out to lunch. It costs me a couple $100 every year. It keeps getting more and more. They always try and pitch in, and I'm like, no. I get them out of work early, get them started on their holiday a little bit early, and let's just hang out as a team and be people instead of coworkers. And so that's cool. Man, what a fucking year. What a fucking year for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's if we could talk for just a super quick second about personal things, it's been an insanely heavy year for me. You and I have talked about this. We actually, a couple weeks ago, our family gets together every late November, sometimes early December, and we're Italian, and so it's been a family tradition for years and years to make Italian sausage, and we all get together and make sausage together, and we can pick our own recipes and stuff, and we mix on Friday night, and then we stuff on Saturday morning, and AJ and I hung out after Friday night. We mixed and everything, and just went out to a bar and bullshitted for, 2.5 hours or something, and it was one of the best times I've had this year, man. You and I don't, as much as we do this show together and we do see each other, we don't ever get to just sit there and bullshit and just hang out, just you and I with nobody around and nothing to do. It's just you and I bullshitting, and and that's what we got to do. And both you and I have had a heavy year. I can't speak to yours, but I consider every year to be a very good year. This one for me was just I'm emotionally fried. Everything that happened was just massive. It was either really good or really bad. You know,
that seems to be the trend this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, for us, like, you know, the year started out for both of us. I mean, we lost our dad, you know, like right out of the gate, and that was just crazy. You know, I adopted a dog. My family adopted a dog first week of July, and then found out, you know.
Sorry, I laughed because you phrased it that way because the whole premise was that it wasn't going to be your dog; it was for someone else entirely.
Well, no, it is,
like,
but
yeah,
I mean,
I mean, we.
Well, it's our family's dog. I mean, you know, it's my stepdaughter's dog, but you know, like 4 months after we adopt him, we find out he's got terminal lymphoma, and he's only 3.5 years old, and you're dealing with that. So now we're dealing with dog chemotherapy and all that. And I had a massive job situation in the middle of the year, which worked out. And I think that for me is the perfect example of the up and down, is that I could have potentially lost my job and been completely fucked. I would have still had a job, but it would have been much more difficult for a little bit more money. But I ended up keeping my job and ending up in a better position than I was, like, not like title wise, but you know, I found out, you know, the company that I work for, which I always thought they believe me, they really believe in me. So I was terrified of where I was going, and I was literally it was a few hours. I was hanging in the balance. Like, it was very scary. Could have been the worst, ended up being the best. So it's just one of those years, man. And again, I think every year is great. I think there are positives everywhere. Like, no matter where you look, there's a positive. And so as heavy as this year is, and I'm emotionally fried, I've got the next 2 weeks off, and I'm definitely going to just, you know, cool my jets and recharge and start kicking ass again on January 2nd. It's been heavy, man. So one of the things that has gotten me through, which always gets me through, is this show, because no matter how little we get to see each other in person, I always get to see you every 2 weeks. And it's a beautiful thing to me. You know, you said it when we were hanging out the other night after, you know, mixing the sausage, like, you know, we're best friends. You and I are, you know, for those of you guys who don't know, like, we are not just brothers. Like, AJ and I are best friends, and our older brother DA, same thing. Like, we are not brothers, we are best friends. So it's, you know, to have this kind of like little bit of refuge for an hour and a half every 2 weeks with you was, I didn't even tell you this the other night, but it really was kind of some glue for me this year that held me together a little bit. So what a fucking year. But man, I'm so blessed to have you, and to have this show, and to have, you know, the people that, you know, take their time to hang out with us. It's beautiful, dude.
That's a fantastic point. Yeah. I mean, I echo all those sentiments, and yeah, it's definitely been a year of highs and lows. It's not been like well, that was okay, and that was kind of sucky. It's like, no, this is the greatest thing ever, or wow, I've never faced this before and I feel broken. So yeah, definitely big stakes this year for sure. But the other thing about this time of year that I mean, everybody looks forward to the new calendar year anyway, with New Year's and resolutions and all that sort of stuff. Our first episode ever was reacting to The Force Awakens in 2015. So
9 years ago,
our first ever episode at the end of December. So we're coming up on another anniversary of the show. And it's like you said, man, we're best friends. We are grateful for everybody who tunes in and listens. The show basically just won't die because, you know, we love talking to each other anyway, whether anyone's listening or not. But the more people are listening and talking, the happier we are. So we love having people on. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We love this collaborative format, and my voice is going, so I guess I'll have to wrap this up quickly. But I just wanted to say thank you, JT, just for being who you are and having all that stuff going on. I love having you as a brother and as a friend. Thanks everybody for coming on the show, for commenting. I've made some genuine friendships through the show. Some people I have yet to meet in person. Some people like Joseph Wren, who I just met in person for the first time this year, which is fantastic. Really, this show is more than just, you know, let's get some eyeballs on YouTube. It's part of our lives, and I just love doing it. So let's keep doing it.
Yep. I love that, man. Like, I couldn't say it better, dude. I could not say it better. Nick Hall says, happy solstice, NHC and company. Same to you, man. Same to you. Kale says, we love you all too. Love you too, Kale, man. Circle J, one of our most amazing friends, man. And he said, loves us and everything. And all you guys, man, this is, you know, if I could, you know, before we show that awesome t-shirt one more time before we go, guys, like I'm gonna, you know, hop on a hippie soapbox real quick for just 2 seconds. Man, just be cool to people. You know, at this time of year, it's easy to be cool to people. Just try to keep the good vibes that you feel around Christmas. Try to spread those out over the year, man. That's, you know, just all, man. I will always say, as stupid as it sounds, people laugh at me, but I really think fucking Bill and Ted nailed it, man. When they said, be excellent to each other. Like that really is like, that is such a great way to live, man. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you guys. As AJ said, like this is not just a show, like this is part of our lives, and you guys are too. Appreciate you guys very much. And goddamn, we'll see you in 2025, man. I just did a dime bag. Goddamn.
right. And just to throw one last thought out there for anybody, I know this time of year can be hard. If it's not a good time for you, lean on your circle, because we both had our people this year that really got us through it. So if it's not one of your good times, make sure you lean on somebody, because I'm sure you've got people that want to be there for you. So let them do that.
Yep, definitely. All right, AJ, before we get out of here, show that t-shirt one more time, because it is an awesome logo design, but to have it on a vintage worn out t-shirt is even better. So let me try and do this here. You're better at this than me. I'm going to put you in solo, but let me get this damn background off here first. There we go. All righty.
We're working on it.
And here we go. There we go. All right.
This
so
is a real actual thing that you can buy, and it actually looks like this. Like I said, if you want a special color or something for the design, let me know. I'll put it up there, and I will make sure it gets pulled as soon as you order it. So it's a truly one-of-one bespoke design. But in general, we have a new sequel trilogy-inspired Star Wars logo for the Nerfherder Council. This comes on a vintage washed t-shirt. If I can get it up close here on the camera, you'll see that like the seams and everything are all very well worn. So it has the awesome lived-in look right out the gate. It's very soft to the touch, which is awesome. The fit is fantastic. And like I said, right now it's going to be less than $30 to get the thing shipped right to you. Highly recommended. Every time I upload a design, this isn't just me shilling, but every time I upload a design to make sure it's actually good, I order one, and that's why I have this one. Is I wanted to make sure that it was correct and of good quality before anyone else spends their money on it. But I will say this with my own personal guarantee. If something arrives to you that you order from us and you don't like it and it's not up to your standards, let me know. I'll make it right. If I got to send you the money, or if I've got to put a new design up to make sure it's to your standards, that's what I'll do. We love you guys.
Yep. Guys, he's not lying. AJ will do that shit. He works a shitload behind the scenes for this show. I basically do the hosting and leading and, you know, yelling at people, and everything else is pretty much AJ. So he really busts his ass at this stuff. So yeah, AJ, again, that looks great. I'm definitely buying, because I love those types of shirts, and they actually fits with my wardrobe, with like black jeans and, you know, the kind of, you know, I could wear that as a stage shirt, which, you know, behind the scenes, I'm buying those specifically for stage shirts. But yeah. All right, well, let's get out of here, man. I think we've shilled enough. I think we've been lovey enough. Guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Nerfherder Council. As always, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. If you guys are watching on YouTube, either on our page or that of the Virtual Cantina Network, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell, so that you are notified every time we go live. If you would like customizable Nerfherder Council swag, as we just showed you, go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. If you would like some awesome Virtual Cantina Network gear, just go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. Guys, we are live every other Wednesday at 8 p.m. at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our show schedule, however, is a little bit jacked up due to the new year and whatnot. Our next show is going to be on Wednesday, January 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be we're going to have, it's a 3-week break. We're going to, not a 3-week break, but Jesus, I'm getting tired. We'll be back in 3 weeks. Look at Kale. Yeah, Kale, only you and I will get this. Carpe Pliem. Very well played, Kale. Nice. So there we go.
Yeah, stay glued to our socials though, because I just need to make sure that I'm available before we do that watch along. But Red One watch along this Friday on WTF Friday is the plan. But the announcements will go on our Facebook and on our Twitter. So make sure you're following us on there.
There you go. So guys, a very Merry Christmas, a happy Hanukkah, whatever holiday you guys celebrate. God bless all you guys, man. Hope you have an awesome holiday season with all of your friends and family. May all the best wishes fall upon you guys in the best possible way. We will see you guys in 2025. So obviously, Happy New Year. And man, another year in the books, AJ. Our 9th year. Next year when we do this, it'll be a decade of the Nerfherder Council. So, man, love you guys. Much appreciated. Until next time, I am your host, JT. I'm still not sure how to sign off since I don't give a shit about X anymore or Twitter. Like, I'm your host, JT, fat Italian guy. Check out Talking Into Infinity on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He is AJ.
I'm still at Drake Adams 579. I'd be friggin' shocked if I hear from any of you, but it doesn't matter. Hey, be safe. Have a good time. Hug your loved one. Let them know that they mean that much to you. Have a great time. We'll see you in the new year, guys.
Love you guys. See you next time.